Hey guys, this is Juan with the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Letting you know this episode, along with all of our other episodes, is brought to you by San Marcos Mexican Restaurant, located at 2301 Southwest 59th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Voted by you as the #1 Mexican restaurant in Oklahoma. Give them a call at 405-685-7773 for a to-go order or dine in with great food and even better customer service. And don't forget $5 margaritas only on Wednesdays. And tell Abel that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you for an extra 10% off your order. San Marcos Mexican Restaurant. It's the only restaurant of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
You like that, old man? You want a piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do? You shoot your eye out, kid.
I answered. And don't call me Shug.
There's no crying in baseball. This is wrong, bitch. Hey, the Schwartz baby.
I am your father.
At you, my pretty.
Take your stinking paws off me.
May the force be with you.
Here's Johnny.
What else you got, man?
Smoking out the window.
Must have spent 35, 45.
Happy Monday, moviegoers. Welcome to the best. Welcome to the Top 5 Plus 5. Welcome to the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and I am joined with the cast, the crew. Craig?
What's up?
Zach?
Hey, what's up, guys?
It is finally here. Are you guys excited? Can you feel the tension in the air?
The anticipation.
The anticipation is built up. It is, it's time, man. We waited an extra 2 months so we can get as many movies watched in as possible. And it's time for our top 5 plus 5 movies of 2021. And I'm excited. I can't wait to get in through this. And it's just tension. There's so many emails and so many social medias to read out. And everybody who's participated, thank you. We'll have 2 special guests involved with us a little bit later on. The first one coming up in just here in a few minutes. But a look back last week, guys, a 30th anniversary edition as we talked Tupac's Juice. Zach's a little bit better movie than you probably thought it was going to be.
Yeah, thought it was a first time watch, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't know really what to expect, and had a good time with it.
Great movie. So I had fun with it. I know a lot of the listeners did. But yeah, if you guys want to check that episode out, along with all of our other episodes in the archives, go check us out. We are wherever you listen to podcasts at, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, iTunes, Stitcher, and now thanks to the PFPN, we are on the Prescribed Films Network. PrescribedFilms.com. You can check us out there along with like podcasts like The Movie Defenders, Attack of the Killer podcast. So they send in their top 5 plus 5 as well. So it's going to be fun to listen into everybody and talk to everybody about their movies. And then, guys, the Batman giveaway started today. It is a Facebook exclusive. Usually Twitter and Instagram users can play along, but this one is just Facebook exclusive, guys. So go to the Facebook. That's facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, or just Facebook search the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Will pop right back up. The Batman giveaway. Like, share, and comment the movie poster that was shared earlier today, and you can win a certificate, $25 worth from San Marcos Mexican Restaurant, some swag, t-shirts, hats, whatever they give out at Rodeo Cinema, some posters from CDR Electronics, a 6-pack of OKC soda, a Little Caesars $25 gift card, and then a Batman Pop vinyl figure and a Batman Blu-ray box set. Guys, the reviews came in for this film, and it is
Pretty hyped.
It's pretty hyped. When I didn't want to agree to disagree with it, but a few weeks ago, one of the reviews had like compare. You guys were talking about if we compared it to The Dark Knight. And I'm like, whoa. I don't know if it's fair to compare it to The Dark Knight, but IGN has already compared it to The Dark Knight. So is some other not rodeo cinema, but some other Rotten Tomato scores out there. So it's going to be pretty interesting. I know we're all seeing it different days. How excited you guys next week? We're talking the Batman.
I can't believe it's finally here, to be honest.
It really did sneak up on me.
You're going tomorrow night, aren't you?
I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
No, I wanted to, and I ended up not getting those tickets. So
I'm going Friday morning.
probably won't be able to make it Friday morning. I think we're gonna go Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Should be fun. I can't wait to talk about it next week. But speaking of rodeo cinema, Zach, you have some nice things to say about it.
On a summer evening, and it sounds just like a song. I want more berries and that summer feeling.
Hey guys, this is Zach with the Cine-Men Movie Podcast here to talk to you about our good friends over at Rodeo Cinema, Oklahoma City's unique non-for-profit art house movie theater located in the Stockyards of Oklahoma. Just want to say, hey, shout out to our good friends over there. Comfortable environment, good people, great popcorn, obviously. They currently do not have their March schedule out for right now, but they are currently showing the 2022 Oscar short films, which is the live action, animation, and documentary. So if you follow the Oscars and all that good stuff, go over there and support them and check out the shorts. You can see them you can visit them at 2221 Exchange Avenue, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma 73108, and tell them that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you.
Getting washed away in you. Breathe me in, breathe me out.
Guys, it's time. Let's just give away some hardware now. We have some Dundees we need to give away. But Zach,
Some Cinnamon Stick Awards.
Some cinnamon stick. Best experience this year, guys, and that's gonna be I don't know whether it's movie moment or just experience. Maybe this is your best experience you had in a movie theater.
Correct.
Sitting down, the noise, the crowd, the environment. I don't know which one it's gonna be. But Zach, you want to kick us off with the award, or who wants to start this show award off first? Who wants to go?
Yeah, I'll go first. Truthfully, I couldn't decide between the two, so I have a tie for this. Or I can pick one. I can pick one.
I'm just teasing you. Go for it.
So first off, I'm pretty sure everyone's gonna have this one. Spider-Man: No Way Home. Clearly, obviously, one of the biggest movies of the year. Great experience. I'm sure we're gonna be talking about it a little bit later. And then my other best theater experience was Dune. Being able to see that type of world on a big screen was absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking about that one as well. What about you, Craig?
I'm right there with you. I think Spider-Man kind of it's the one that we all anticipated. Obviously it's the biggest movie of the year. It's one of the biggest movies of all time. We all kind of knew it was coming, but just in that moment when it actually happened, the crowd, the people, the reactions, the feeling on the inside, just when you saw them two come out of the portals, that's not much, talking also when they were talking about their universes and people they've lost and people they love. Hands down, one of the best just overall experiences in a theater.
Emotion.
Yep.
Emotion, happiness. But I just had a little bit more emotion with this one. Spider-Man is a 1B for me, but mine is going to have to be the end of No Time to Die. Daniel Craig, James Bond, it being his last hoorah, his last James Bond movie. And just, they never kill off a Bond. You never saw it coming. I don't care what anybody said. Even though you heard the rumors of the different Peter Parkers, in the back of your mind, you had a feeling that it was going to happen.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was in the title.
Exactly.
So.
Well, and then when you get the emotion of just James Bond dying, he's no longer there. Yeah. And Daniel Craig is leaving behind finally a woman that he loves, and then a child. Mm-hmm. It's everything that you want in a movie theater, in a movie theater experience, and a movie going experience. And then
and it felt right.
It did feel right, which was weird, but how I love to hear a crowd just pop and just be loud at a movie theater, like with No Way Home. there's something eerie about a crowd just being silent
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
something like that happens. And the crowd was so dead that you could hear a pin drop. And that to me says words as well. So my best theater experience this 2021 is going to be No Time to Die.
Nice.
Really, really touching moment for me. So, yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. It's easy to get a crowd up and going. It's very difficult to leave a crowd speechless in a good way. So
Yeah.
I'm right. I agree with you.
Yeah. It was pretty fun, pretty cool. And, man, first award is in and out of the books. Hey guys, don't forget that this episode is also brought to you by CDR Electronics. I know for the year 2021, for me, it was the best value where I found all my physical media from. CDR Electronics serves the local OKC metro area with the best value for your electronics. You can visit them online at cdrokc.com or visit them in store at 1604 West I-240 Service Road right here in Oklahoma City. Let them know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you in those doors. And don't forget, check them out. They are open 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. So that means you can go and get your physical media on for almost 12 hours a day. Zach, you know I can spend 12 hours
Oh,
in
I know
CDR.
you can. Yeah.
With Blu-rays to the Dickens, CDR Electronics has the physical media that you need. They also have video games, video game systems, iPads, all the electronics you need. So go check them out. CDR Electronics. Tell them Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you.
I said you are drowning in the night. Oh, when I'm like this, you're the one I just I used to lie awake and let you occupy.
Don't forget also the Craft Soda Company of Oklahoma, OKC Soda Company, is brought to you by this episode. And they also have super unique flavors like strawberry milkshake, blueberry, made with pure cane sugar and natural flavors. Visit them at okcsodacompany.com. That's okcsodaco.com. You can also get their 6-packs in your local Homeland stores today. So check them out. Or you can go win the Batman giveaway and try yourself a 6-pack of OKC soda. It's the only soda beverage of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
Find a way to shake it. You don't wanna let me be. You wanna see it fall down.
All right, Zach, the next award, the next hardware that we're handing out is MVP of the year. And, Zach, the way you explain this to me is MVP of 2021. So this is going to be who, in our thoughts, minds, had the best year in entertainment, movie, news,
Yeah.
whatever. So I'll start off with this one. I kind of didn't know what direction you might have been going through. So I'm going to say I have two. And it's kind of a no. I'm just gonna go the one. I'm gonna say HBO Max
Oh, nice.
was MVP of 2021 because they saved
A lot of money.
They saved us.
Yeah.
They saved from where we may thought some movies wouldn't have came out. HBO Max was like, you know what, we're gonna put it. We're gonna put it on HBO Max and do in theaters. So I didn't know what you meant by this award. So I was like, you know what, HBO Max to me is an MVP.
That's a good one.
What was your second one?
My second one, honestly, was the movie theater business. Going through a pandemic, and at least here in the city, where we're from here in Oklahoma City, no movie theater was closed from March 2021 to now. And you know what? And some of them were still open before then. So whether it's the workers, the management, people running the projectors, you got to say the movie business, the theaters were MVPs as well.
Yeah.
For just being there. And guess what? Some of them were not opened all the way. Some of them were closed on certain days. But when the big movies were there, they made us feel welcomed. They accommodated us. They didn't run out of stuff. And I got to say those two. Without them, I don't think we would have went and saw many new movies last year. So those are my MVPs.
Yeah. Those two are good.
Zach?
My MVP is going to piss a lot of people off.
Let's do it.
So But in just thinking about what kind of year this guy had and what he's going to have going forward, my MVP is going to be Benedict Cumberbatch. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. He was not only in the most critically acclaimed movie, which we all hate, which is fine, The Power of the Dog, but he was also in the biggest movie of the year, which is Spider-Man: No Way Home. And now, not only is he, I don't think he's going to win. I think Will Smith has really gained a lot of momentum with King Richard for Best Actor. But if he wins, here in about a month, he'll win Best Actor at the Oscars, and then not even a month later, like 3 or 4 weeks later, he'll be in Doctor Strange 2.
which might be a top grossing movie of all time.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of like career-wise, it's like in the stratosphere for him.
That's true.
So
He did have a massive 2021. So I like it. Craig?
you allow it.
I'm kind of taking bits and pieces from you guys because I still didn't, like I said, I didn't know what you meant by the MVP. So I'm going to say just overall Disney.
Yep.
Releasing Encanto, which is a massive hit again. I mean, after you release Soul and everybody loves Soul, you release.
They had a big 2021. They had Luca, Raya and the Last Dragon.
Raya.
All the Marvel TV shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you want to talk about putting entertainment out there. It's a company that didn't shy away from.
And they didn't raise the price either.
Going against the pandemic. You know, they may have pushed them back a little bit, but they put the movies out.
Yep.
They put out content on Disney Plus. They put out banger shows on Disney Plus. And all the movies made over $200 million, if I'm not mistaken, with Spider-Man making $700 million. So Disney overall, one of the MVPs in my opinion.
MVP. And now it's time for our first guest, which hails from California. All right, so we're here with Chelsea from Spooky Tuesday podcast, and it's our first guest of top 5 plus 5 top 10 movies of 2021. Chelsea, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. We're doing excellent. This is one of our biggest shows of the year, so we're extremely happy to have you. So kind of explain to everybody out there what kind of decided you guys to get into podcasting. What's your podcast about?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So our podcast is called Spooky Tuesday, and it started because back in season 1 of the pandemic, when nobody had anything to do, some friends and I just started watching scary movies on Tuesday nights, and we started calling them Spooky Tuesdays. And Monica and Sydney had met when they were working in radio, and they kind of always wanted to do a podcast together, but they never really settled on what about. And then after we started our weekly Spooky Tuesdays, they reached out to me and they were like, what do you think about doing a horror movie podcast every week? And we could call it Spooky Tuesday. And I was like, that sounds sick. I'm in. And so we started it together back in October 2020. And it's been really fun so far. It's been like a year and a half.
Nice. What's probably your favorite part about like podcasting? Is it meeting with everybody? And you guys are every Tuesday, right? Every week or?
Yeah, pretty much. It's rare that we take a week off, but we did one time between seasons. So we're thinking about maybe in the future giving ourselves a little more of a break because every single week is kind of a clip. But it is really nice to have time every week to check in with our friends also. It's the three of us who do the podcast, but sometimes we'll watch our movies with our other spooky friends. We call it our foreplay before we record, and then our aftercare after. So we always end up just like talking for 3 hours every single time. And it's really nice to just have like a designated time to like chat. And it's really nice to really break down all of the movies that we're watching too, because sometimes you watch a movie with a friend and then you turn it off and it's like you're still thinking about it days later. But now we've got an outlet for that, which is really great.
And it gets addicting too, doesn't it? Just sitting there talking about movies and going, every other way you can about it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll still be thinking about it for like the full week after. And I do the social content for us, so I'm always looking for little extra things in the movie too after we've discussed it. And so my brain is just spooky movies all the time sometimes.
And I've seen some of your highlights on Instagram. Are you guys also audio only, or do you do some highlights on the Instagram, or are you visually as well?
We are just audio for now. We do record, like we record on Zoom, so we have the video. But we haven't figured out any hacks yet to edit video at the same time as we edit audio. So we'll just pull like little clips for social, and then maybe one day we'll have full YouTubes or something.
Nice. That's how we are. We sometimes post some videos, but other than that, we are audio only, and it's fun. Craig right now has a question for you.
I was just saying, I might have a solution for you for gathering audio and video at the same time. So if you want to just reach out to Juan at the end, we can talk about that. So
There's also plenty of fun stuff out there like SteamYard and stuff like that. So let's get into kind of like why we're here. But before we do you want to let everybody know where your podcast is available, and you can let everybody know, like all the listeners on our side of the show, where they can find your podcast.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. So we are spooky_Tuesday on Instagram and Twitter. And we are at Spooky Tuesday Pod on Tumblr, and Spooky Tuesday Pod on Facebook. And then on Letterboxd, we are just Spooky Tuesday. So we've kind of run the gamut of those various Spooky Tuesday podcast combinations.
Nice. And then you guys drop obviously every Tuesday. Is there a certain time that people can catch it, or is it just different times throughout the day?
Well, if you're really looking for the live drop, for some people it's going to be on Monday, because Sydney is our editor-in-chief, and she's the one that goes through the episodes, puts them all together, and uploads them. And so they publish midnight Central Time, so Tuesday at midnight Central Time, which is 10 p.m. in LA for me and Monica.
Nice.
So some people have accused us of being Spooky Monday, but it's just a time zone issue.
Hey, Mondays are excellent too, you know. So, you know, we're here to talk about top 5 movies of 2021. I think you said you were going to go through everybody's from your shows, right? You guys' top 5 movies of last year.
We have a collective top 5, and we thought we'd focus in on horror, so they're all horror or horror adjacent.
Nice. Well, that's what we like to hear. So if you wanna start, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah. So I'll start with one of mine. One of my favorite horror movies. It's kind of a 3-in-1 from last year, but I really loved the Fear Street trilogy, which dropped over the summer. They were on Netflix, and it was kind of like each was its own individual movie, but not enough, really. They were very much like a collective story, and they tied in together really, really nicely. But they dropped them on Netflix, and they were also doing screenings in a park out here in LA, so I saw 2 of them in the park with like a crowd of people, which was really a blast after, you know, a year plus of pandemic at-home movies. And also they were gay, and we love when horror movies are gay at Spooky Tuesday, so that was really a thrill for me. And I guessed it like the first time they introduced the concept of a love interest. They didn't say any pronouns, and I was like, there's something funky happening here. And I was right, and it was such a joy. And then it was just a blast. But our second one comes from Monica, and it is Last Night in Soho. And I know she really, really loved it. She said that Edgar Wright just did an incredible job meticulously creating the world of 1960s Soho. She loves a period piece. She loves like a 60s moment. And so she was really just ruling over the fashion the whole time, especially everything that Anya Taylor-Joy and Thomas and Mackenzie were wearing. And it was just, I know she said it was really gorgeous. And then she said, and I haven't seen it, but she said there's a very unexpected spooky twist that she loved. So I'll have to get around to that one day too.
Yeah, really recommend it.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Number 3 comes from Sydney, although I know Monica also loved this one. But it's Willy's Wonderland with Nicolas Cage.
Yep.
We just think he's like the funniest actor. He always makes such incredible choices and really commits to them. But she said, you know, Nicolas Cage is her boyfriend, and the entire concept of the movie was just so weird and perfect, and she had a blast. And if you guys aren't familiar with the concept, it's pretty crazy. It's like he is doing he trades his labor cleaning up an old like kids amusement area, and the animatronics come to life, and he has to start like fighting against them. So it sounds pretty wild.
It's
And that's on my list too.
it's very underrated. It's
Okay.
yeah, I enjoyed it, and I like how he hardly had any dialogue throughout the whole movie.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I know Monica and Sydney want to do it on the pod one day,
Yeah.
so we'll see when it makes it on the schedule.
That'd be nice.
Number 4 is also a Monica pick. It was Werewolves Within. We're all huge What We Do in the Shadows fans. So seeing Harvey Guillen in it, actually I'm not sure I said his name right, but Guillermo from What We Do in the Shadows. He's in that movie, and so is Milana Vaintrub. And she's been pretty funny in a lot of stuff, so it was really cool to see them. And she said it was super underrated. Should have just gotten way more love. Just a great ensemble cast in general. And she says there's an incredible scene using, and I quote, the timeless bop "The Sign" by Ace of Base that made her fall in love with Milana. So she said, all in all, it's just like so worth your time to check it out.
Nice.
And then my last one is the movie we actually just did at the end of February. For our final February movie, we did the new Candyman that came out in 2021.
Oh yeah.
And I know there was like so much discourse about it in general. And we had our friend Chancellor Agard from Entertainment Weekly on when we did it, because he had interviewed Nia DaCosta and written some articles about Black horror in general. And he was like not a huge fan, but we really liked it, and there was like a lot asked of it in general, which is why I think some people felt like it just didn't quite meet expectations. But I thought for everything that was being asked of it, it did a great job trying to address everything. It was being pulled in so many directions, and I thought it did a really great job of rising to the occasion for that. And then just going back through social, there's been so many little things that I picked up on like a way closer magnifying glass analyzation of the movie than I did when I was just watching it the first time around. And so I think it's just like a really beautiful piece of art, and I think a pretty great sequel to the original 1992 Candyman. And they really made it their own at the same time and really rewrote the lore, but in a way that I thought made a lot of sense.
It did. It was definitely a movie that popped, and the rewatchability is amazing. I love the pacing in that movie. And congratulations on the interview. I bet that was fun.
Yeah. We always love to get friends on the pod, and when we didn't talk to Nia DaCosta, but our friend Chance did, and to get his perspective as like a media critic, as someone who had talked to Nia, and as someone who was a huge fan of the original, or at least like was really interested in the original, to get a chance to talk with him about the new one was cool too, because we loved the original when we talked about it last year also, but like obviously there are problems with it, and so it was interesting to see how the new movie kind of answered a lot of those problems while trying to do its own thing. And so that was a lot of fun. I thought they did a pretty good job overall of hitting all of the bullet points that they needed to.
Good. And then before you continue, Zach has a question for you, real quick.
What'd you think about the Jordan Peele aspect? I kind of thought that he probably should have just directed it entirely, because it feels like one of his movies. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know, like maybe it was good just he wrote it and someone else had the visionary style to direct it.
Yeah, I think I'm not really sure like why that decision was made. I don't think that it was any worse off not having Jordan Peele directing. I think sometimes, especially a project like this, you need to have multiple sets of eyes on it. I think that, it's one thing where like Get Out, those were entirely Jordan Peele visions, and he had such a clear idea of what he wanted to do. And then I think a movie like this, where it's trying to hit all those different targets, sometimes you need a larger team of people to really be like, are we doing this? Are we doing this? Are we doing this? Because when you're a writer, sometimes you can't tell if you're communicating what's in your brain and it's like making it onto the page. And so I think having more people involved sometimes can be really great. Sometimes it makes things confusing. Sometimes I think it's a huge asset.
Well, and I think I think you're absolutely right, and I think and the other possibility is that he was probably working on Nope, which comes out this summer, so he wanted to contribute to Candyman, but also focus on his next big project.
Yeah, and I'm not too familiar with the rest of Nia DaCosta's work, but I thought she did a pretty amazing job. And I think probably my main complaints are not with the directing or the writing or anything like that, but probably was like a studio interference, big budget movie kind of thing.
Nice.
But yeah, that's our top 5. I think 2021 was kind of a weird year for movies a little bit, because some movies were pushed to 2021 to wait. Some movies were pushed from 2021. I think, all things being different, we would have had a wider selection to choose from. But there were definitely a lot of movies that were a lot of fun. I don't know that they were amazing and perfect and flawless, but there was definitely enough good content to make us through the year.
That's true. You could definitely feel that there was a push and movement because of the pandemic. Like 2020 was a down year so much for some movies, but yet 2021, in what could have been a great year, ended up being almost like a bounce back year.
Yeah, felt like a filler.
Yeah, like the new Scream was supposed to come out in 2021 and got pushed. Everyone thought Candyman wasn't going to end up coming out in 2021, and I think it wasn't supposed to originally. I think it was supposed to come out in 2020.
Yeah.
So you kind of ended up with this ramshackle movie release schedule. But we still got some bangers.
We did. And you know what? Some movies like Willy's Wonderland, Pig, some of those movies kind of benefited from bigger movies being pushed back. So
another one I thought had a good release schedule because it was just in between two big films was Spiral, the Saw the spin-off
we haven't
or whatever.
dabbled in Saw at all over at our podcast. I don't think any of us have even seen a Saw movie yet. One day we'll get around to those, but I think we're a little scared.
I'd be very if you had to dabble in any, I would personally suggest at least the first one. If you like the first one, the rest of them might be worth dabbling in. But if you can't get through the first one, then I wouldn't bother with any of the other ones.
The only thing I know about Saw is that one of the movie ends, and then you realize the next day was September 11th, 2001, and so that's all that I know, is that it took place on September 10th, 2001. And gosh, I bet their day sure did not get much better when they got out.
Yeah. So other than that, if anybody else has any questions, do you want to plug anything else as far as your podcast go, or what are you guys looking forward to in this next 2022 calendar year?
Well, one thing that I always am looking forward to is we do something. We're a horror movie podcast, but Spooky Tuesdays whenever we get a 5th Tuesday in a month. Like if you just happen to get 5 Tuesdays, because there's an imperfect amount of weeks in a month. Sometimes it's not always just 4. But when we get a 5th Tuesday, we get a freebie and we get to do whatever movie we want.
Ooh.
And so I'm really excited. I think next up on the schedule is a movie that Monica hasn't seen that I've been really pushing for her to watch because I was obsessed with it when I was younger. And so I don't want to say what it is just yet, but I'm very excited to do our next 5th Tuesday at the end of March.
Nice. But as far as your next episode goes, do you want to let everybody know what your next episode is and when they can expect it? Probably Tuesday?
Sure. So I think this podcast drops pretty immediately, right?
Yeah, it'll be released 9 p.m. Monday night.
Cool. Yeah.
Central
so
time.
Our next episode dropping just a few hours after that, midnight Tuesday, will be on Anaconda, the 1997 Snake movie with Jennifer Lopez, Owen Wilson, John Voight, Ice Cube, of course. And it is so universally panned by critics and audiences everywhere, but also such a blast. And so really excited to share that with everyone.
Nice. Yeah, that's a definitely an underrated 90s movie. I grew up with that movie, so I'm excited to hear you guys talk about it. So,
do you just personally have a top favorite film of 2021? It doesn't have to be horror, just like what you thought was the best in your personal opinion.
Best of my personal opinion, I loved Spider-Man No Way Home because I'm a fanfic gal and that felt like a fanfic, and so it was great. I loved Luca from Disney, where they're the fish in Italy and
Yeah.
they're gay, and they're not gay, but they so clearly are. I thought that was really sweet and wonderful.
No, Luca was great. So
So, do you guys cover only movies, or do you go into like docuseries or anything like that?
Right now, just movies. If we end up ever starting the Patreon that we love to joke about, maybe one day we'll do some bonus content with like talking about TV shows or talking about documentaries or whatever. But for now, we're just in the movie zone.
Okay.
all right. Well, hey Chelsea, I want to say thank you for taking the time to come here and just talk movies with us and explaining more to our listeners about yourself and your movie loving experience. So, on behalf of everybody here from the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, I want to say thank you for joining us. And you know what? This was fun. We might have to do it again.
Of course, an honor to be included.
All right. Thank you so much, Chelsea. You have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
You too.
Thank you. So, fun list and sounds like a fun podcast, guys. I think we're gonna have to
Collab sometime.
collab sometime for sure. Again, that was Chelsea from Spooky Tuesday. You guys can check them out every Tuesday wherever you listen to podcasts at. But for now, let's hand out some more
Hardware.
hardware. The Dundee is pretty thick, pretty girthy sized Dundee.
That's a very small trophy.
Zach,
Over exaggerating.
let's get into your best comedy of 2021, sir. What is it?
My best comedy of the year. It's probably a mixture of the two different genres, but to me, I thought I probably laughed more in this movie probably than anyone I saw this year. Best comedy film for me is The Suicide Squad. I think obviously when you have Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn was excellent. I think that the thing that really got me was the back and forth between Idris Elba and John Cena. I thought that was just comedy gold. And you can't forget King Shark and everything else in between. So I mean, I thought what James Gunn was able to do for Guardians, he's able to up his game and do an R-rated version of that, and we got the Suicide Squad. So
That's true. And you know what? That's the first movie that's going to win 2 awards from the same guys because that's
Nice.
my favorite comedy of the year was Suicide Squad. How you bring up Margot Robbie though and King Shark, I'm going to disagree with you, the guy, because we've seen Harley Quinn before and she delivers some laughs, but to me, the one person who just outdid everybody and surprised the hell out of me was John Cena.
And
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
why he got a TV show.
He got a TV
Yeah.
show out of it, and he not only did he make the Suicide Squad what it is, he made the Peacemaker show what it is,
yeah,
and he signed up for season 2.
Well, and that's one of the most surprising things is that people were questioning him. And
I
him
was
alone,
questioning him.
Him alone, whenever the movie, like, why are you putting John Cena in
Yeah.
there? He's not really, and he comes out and delivers big time.
And you know what? Just months before you get Fast 9, and in Fast 9 he's stiff. He's not that entertaining, but that's probably the way he was written.
yeah,
And you don't see a lot of entertaining stuff from John Cena lately in the WWE, but you do see how funny he can be a decade ago when he was in the WWE.
yeah.
When he was doing the chains and, being a thug life and everything. You can see how funny he was then. But man, to put out the content he did in the Suicide Squad, I honestly think if he wasn't in it, it would have been a letdown for me.
Well, and I will say, I don't think it's just him and him alone. I
Right.
do think the chemistry between the people that were on the movie,
Yeah,
like, it was just a mixture that nobody thought was going to work.
yeah.
And here we go with James Gunn pulling it off yet again.
Yeah.
Well, and he was able to, like I said, with Idris Elba, he did that with all the different actors he was with.
Yeah.
And that's what made that group of characters fun.
So yeah, it was a fun movie, highly entertaining. I gotta agree with you, Zach. I'm giving that good old Dundee to the Suicide Squad. Craig, what's your favorite comedy of 2021?
I do like your awards, but I did just watch Free Guy over the weekend.
Okay.
And
Funny movie.
I enjoyed it. I think it was a breath of fresh air. Ryan Reynolds kind of breaks the mold of what he normally does. The cast was also great with Taki Waititi.
Yep.
The guy from Pitch Perfect. Let me pull up the cast.
Jodie Comer, who was the main love interest.
Yeah. So yeah, I just think it was a breath of fresh air. The cop side, the cop that's with them that was in the Jordan Peele movie.
Oh, Little Ray Hauser, is that his name?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he plays Ryan Reynolds' best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude is comedy gold, and it's sort of similar in everything he
He's
does.
the best friend from
Get Out.
Get Out.
Get Out.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's just his little one-liners are perfect, and they match perfectly with the comedy in this movie. So I really enjoyed it.
Good comedy set of lists, guys. Free Guy available on Disney Plus right now, and then don't forget the Suicide Squad is available on HBO Max. So some fun movies, and time to give out some more. So the next piece of hardware that we're going to give out is best overrated movie of the year. So what you guys thought might have been a good movie, or what maybe a lot of people might have trashed on. Zach, what would you say is probably overrated to you? What does that mean to you?
Overrated to me is like one that a lot of people seem to love, and there's just a lot of hype behind it. And then when you watch, you're just like, the classic. It's fine.
All right,
It's fine.
It's fine. Zach, go ahead and kick us off then. What was your overrated movie of 2021? Let's hear it.
My overrated film is one of two of this directors that came out this year. One was excellent and really just kind of did what he wanted to do. The other one, not so much. And I thought just a lot of people hyped it up, and I just didn't think it was. It turned out to be what people thought. Overrated for me is Army of the Dead. Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. But the exception of maybe the zombie tiger, didn't really care for it, man. I'm gonna be honest. It was just too long.
It was too girthy.
It was too girthy, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh my God, it's gonna be like the next Dawn of the Dead," and I just didn't think that.
Yeah, I could agree with that, but that's not going to be mine. My overrated movie, and this really might get some people because the first half of the year people were praising the hell out of it. My overrated movie is going to be Nobody, starring Bob Odenkirk.
Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul, of course. I don't think you needed a movie like that. You know, you have John Wick. It's almost the exact same storyline. Except, guess what? I don't know if you guys know this, but Bob, what's his name again?
Odenkirk.
Exactly. What's his name again? He's not. He doesn't fit the role of a badass. He doesn't fit the role of now starring this amazing star.
But that's the point. You're just trying to get someone that's kind of, is known in primarily in television and kind of bring him up into the
didn't work.
lights.
Didn't work for me. Don't get me wrong. What the film was, guess what? It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. I just didn't believe the hype. And believe me, Zach, did it not at the beginning of the year? A lot of people were praising it,
hyping it. Yeah.
So,
and you're right. I mean, it's basically just a different version of John Wick.
Yeah. So that's my overrated movie of 2021. Nobody. Craig, what about you, sir? Overrated for you?
Overrated for me is going to be Ridley Scott's The Last Duel.
No.
Yeah.
Why you?
It's
Is it because of that comment he said about millennials?
No. I didn't like it. One, I didn't like Ben Affleck in it. Two, I don't like the aspect of telling a story 3 times
from different
and
points
taking
of view.
up 2 hours worth of time doing it.
Yeah,
I could see where that probably gets somebody.
There were parts where I had to skip forward in it because I was like, I understand it's going to be slightly different, but I know it's the same shit.
But how fun was the last duel at the end?
Yeah, the last duel was good, and I enjoyed Matt Damon. I enjoyed Adam Driver. Kylo Ren. I enjoyed them, but I did not see Ben Affleck as believable. Jodie McCormick was good in it. The rest of the cast was fairly good. Matt Damon really stood out, and Adam Driver stood out.
The only negative that I had to say about it is I don't think it should have been as much rape in there and sexuality as it probably could have been. I know that's what the story is based around, but I wanted a little bit more action.
Yeah, it was very story driven, very, and it's kind of misleading. The title misleads. It's basically like 2 dudes fight over an accusation of rape.
But that's how it was back in the day, though.
Right, but it's like The Last Duel. I was thinking it was going to be like
when you're expecting when it's Ridley Scott and you've seen films like Gladiator and Kingdom of Heaven, you're expecting that.
A little
just
bit
full
more.
out a lot more action in it.
Which and I don't hate that the plot of the movie is surrounded of what it's surrounded by. I don't need three different storylines, man. You can tell me all in one go, and we can figure it out at the end.
But don't get me wrong, I'm going to let that lead into the month of March. March is just a day away, technically. March starts tomorrow. So a look on the schedule for next for us this next coming month is March 7th. We get the Batman, which is going to be fun, and then we're going to talk 3 straight Oscar-winning classics going into the Oscars at the end of March. March 14th, we're going to talk about Rocky. March 21st, we're talking about Ridley Scott's Gladiator. And then March 28th is the 50th anniversary
It's okay.
of The Godfather.
You're gonna be buying that new 4K collection.
It comes out the week before that episode. So now, in that one episode, we could talk about the 4K collection. We get to talk about the 50th anniversary of The Godfather. And then we get to talk about the Oscars, which is the night before the Godfather episode. So a fun schedule. March is going to be fun, and I can't wait to get into some better weather, obviously, and then some Oscar classics. So can't wait. Should be fun. Zach, we're going to give away another piece of hardware, and this is going to be your favorite movie moment of 2021. So it could be a scene. That's what I'm guessing it's going to be. Pretty much your favorite scene of 2021.
Yeah.
So let us know, what was yours?
Yeah, so for mine, this movie had a lot of great moments in it, but I think the one that kind of stole the show was it's in the title, and I think this scene really delivers on all cylinders. I'm gonna say the best movie moment for me is the Hong Kong fight between Godzilla and Kong, and it's just completely well shot, well directed. The action is incredible. It is exactly what you want in that movie, Godzilla versus Kong, and they're both illuminated beautifully with the city fluorescent lights, and it's just an all-out action scene. So very well done on that part.
That's true. How my best theater experience was No Time to Die, and I got emotional. My favorite overall movie scene of 2021. I think, Craig, you might have mentioned it earlier, and it might fall along the same category as you, but mine's going to be when you see the two Peters from Spider-Man No Way Home.
When you see the two Peter,
Yeah.
I don't know if we're talking about the same movie here.
When you see the two Peter Parkers from Spider-Man No Way Home, you see it happening. You know in the back of your mind it's going to happen, but when you finally see it on the big screen, or the TV screen, No Way Home comes out on 4K in just a few weeks. So I can't wait to rewatch that again. But it's a fun scene. You see Andrew Garfield, you see Tobey Maguire, and then to have them interact and act with the current cast is a fun scene for me. So that's my favorite movie scene of the year. Craig?
Yeah, I mean,
Same, or what's yours?
it's the same.
Yeah?
I was a huge sucker for just Spider-Man in general. Just I think the biggest thing is just being able to see Tobey Maguire back in the suit, and also being able to see Andrew Garfield redeem himself after what I don't think was his fault in his Spider-Man series. Being able to come back and do his stuff and perform the other guys in an actual Marvel directed Spider-Man. So the chemistry between the three of them was just awesome in this one.
So yeah, that was a fun little movie moment. So plenty of hardware still to give out. But currently, right now, guys, we are getting ready to talk to Kevin from the Real for Real podcast. So we're gonna get his take and talk to them about their show and ask him what his top 5 movies of 2021 were. All right, guys. So we're here with Kevin from the Real for Real podcast. And Kevin, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for inviting me.
Good, no problem, man. It's always a joy to have other podcasters and other film enthusiasts and film lovers to hang out and talk to us a little bit about movies and what kind of, started a lot of this stuff for you. So you're a podcaster as well. What kind of drove you guys or you into starting your own podcast?
Yeah, man. So our podcast name is the Real Podcast. And so it's me, my buddy Isaiah, and Trevor. We're 3 good friends. We've known each other since the 6th grade. and we always talk about movies. We watch a lot of movies. We buy movies. And so, like, last year, I was like, you know what? Why not just start a podcast and put our thoughts out there since we talk about them all the time? So we just decided to start it, and we started April of last year. You can find us on YouTube at the Real for Real podcast, REEL for REAL, Real Podcast. And our Instagram name is the Real for Real Podcast as well, so you can find us on there.
Yeah, some of your video clips that you've shared on the Instagram, man, funny stuff. You guys can tell, for sure that you guys have a lot of great chemistry, and it's entertaining, man. Yeah, it's real entertaining. So that's always the best stuff. And you guys do everything in the same room together, right? All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. And yeah, you can definitely tell
It's authentic when you talk to each other.
it's authentic. Yeah, and yeah, I gotta say, man,
I appreciate that.
I enjoy your stuff, and I enjoy a lot of what you guys do, man. It's really entertaining stuff, so keep it up for sure.
Thanks, man. And hey, one day I want to get my 4K collection like yours, man.
Well, I don't think anyone's gonna be able to get their 4K collection like Johnny's.
Collection is insane.
Man, you know what? Insane like that though is I've been collecting since probably 2007, and
Wow.
I've worked at some video stores, so that helped a lot using their discounts. So
That's true. That's true. Because I remember when 4K first dropped, and I was like, ooh, it's a little bit pricey.
yeah,
Yeah.
This other crap.
I remember when Blu-ray first hit, man, and one of my first Blu-rays was The Dark Knight, and yeah, it was still back then in 2008. You could still go to a midnight release for a Blu-ray release, like they did midnight releases.
Oh wow.
And yeah, man, it was fun.
Yeah, man, that's cool.
But so letting us know, what podcast and what drove you to starting as your love for movies. What about where can we find you? Other than like the visual, like audio is like you guys on Spotify and stuff too, or?
Man, I'm glad you mentioned that. So we are actually going to go ahead and incorporate audio into our stuff now. So be on the lookout for us. Follow us at The Real for Real and on Instagram. And we will pretty soon be adding audio for Spotify and for Apple.
Nice.
So we're gonna get on there, try to branch out a little bit.
Nice, man. Well, I'm enjoying it. So, as far as your top 5 movies of 2021, do you wanna start off with number 5? I know it's probably a hard list to do. There's a lot of stuff that came out last year.
Man, this is hard to do, man. Because see, at first I was like, I saw y'all said 5 for 5, right? And I was like, okay, cool. I can go ahead and get my top 10. Then you said 5. I was like, oh man, now I got to reorganize this list.
If you have the other 5 with you, by all means, you're more than welcome to add in that top 10.
Oh man, I can do top 10.
Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
All right, that's what's up. All right, I wasn't sure if I was allowed to. But
Yeah,
definitely.
go
ahead
for
and
sure.
just plug that in real quick. So number 10, I'm gonna say Malcolm and Marie on Netflix that dropped last year. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in at number 10. And if you want me to say anything about him, I can. But
Yeah,
number
for sure.
9, I'm gonna say Shang-Chi. At number 9. Number 8, I'm gonna say The Suicide Squad. Number 7, I'm gonna say A Quiet Place 2. And number 6, I have Justice League Snyder's Cut.
Nice.
Then number 5, I have Wrath of Man. Guy Ritchie, got to do it.
Great movie, man. Great movie.
Yeah, man. Number 4, I've got No Way Home. And number 3, I've got No Time to Die. Number 2, The Last Duel. And number 1, Judas and the Black Messiah.
There you go.
Yeah,
Very nice list.
Great list.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Great list. But what a year though, like just movies in general last year, man, to where you can have so many different good movies from, whether it be superheroes or it was just a phenomenal year.
Yeah. See, last year was a heavy Marvel year, I would say. Just trying to catch up, and Shang-Chi really stood out to me. Obviously, Black Widow, people either hated it or loved it. It didn't make my top 10 list. It was fine. It was cool. But, yeah, man, Malcolm and Marie, I had to go ahead and slide that in there at number 10. Did you guys ever watch Malcolm and Marie? Did y'all check it out on Netflix?
I've heard a lot of great things about it, but I personally haven't seen it. Zach, have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. I wanted to get your quick take on it. I thought it was very is a quite interesting movie considering you have John David Washington and arguably one of the biggest rising stars of Zendaya, and they're just kind of having a argument for an hour and a half. And I thought the two actors really like pulled it off. It really could have been a bore fest, but I thought they both did excellent in that film.
Yeah, they did. It stood out to me, man, because Sam Levinson, the director, like he's the one who's director for Euphoria as well. So he's really good at just leading things on the cinematography side and setting everything up. But I really liked because Malcolm and Marie, it's kind of like two films in one. You have Malcolm and Marie that are in a relationship, and obviously it's toxic, right? Because they're coming from a night out at an event that they went to, and then they get in this heated argument. And then, but it's not only about that, but it's also the commentary on black filmmakers having to deal with white critics not understanding their concept of, what they try to do sometimes. Like Malcolm's whole issue is like, man, I can't stand when white critics try to attribute everything I'm trying to do to race. I'm not talking about race. I'm trying to do this. And so it's like, it's interesting that they talk about that. And so it reminded me of filmmakers like Spike Lee, maybe what he has to deal with, or some of these other filmmakers. So I thought it hit pretty heavy on that, man. And it's, I think people probably had a problem with it because you can really see yourself in it. If you've ever been in a long-term relationship, when you argue with your spouse or your girlfriend, and it's like, it's hard to look at yourself, right? Because you're seeing the worst side of the relationship. And so I think that's hard for people. But I liked it, man. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I thought they pulled it off for, it taking place in one setting the entire time for just two characters, right? But
Yeah.
to me, like, when you have a small cast like that of two people, I think it helps with maybe they contributed to the script a little bit, right? So they probably had a little bit more freedom to say what they wanted to say and add a little bit more oomph to it. So
Well, and I think they filmed it like right when the pandemic was going on. So it was like Zendaya, John David Washington, like the director and screenwriter. I think that's it, and the cameraman. So
yeah, that was cool. That was cool. And
Man.
Shang-Chi, y'all enjoyed that, right?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Shang-Chi was great. Your number 10 kind of I don't spend a lot of time on Netflix, obviously, because I'm a physical media guy. But you know what? I think this week I'm gonna have to go check it out, and for sure probably give you some props, and I'll probably mention it in my recent watches next week.
it's a very good film.
Yeah, let me know what
Yeah.
you think, man. Let me
Yeah.
know what you think. Because I'm somebody, I like to collect movies too. And I like to, it's tough because like when things go to Netflix, you're like, dang, like the Five Bloods, I want to buy that movie.
Yep. I need the Five Bloods.
Get it.
We really thought that was going to be a Criterion release.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, but yeah, I thought it was good. And Shang-Chi, I really enjoyed that. Shang-Chi really stood out to me, man, as far as an MCU movie. First of all, shout out to the diversity for Marvel. Like, we had Black Panther, now we have this. I thought it was good. I really enjoy, like, martial arts movies, so it was good to see that real hand-to-hand combat for the first act of the movie. And Tony Leung is a great villain.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
ask me, I thought he did a great job. So it was good to be able to see that Tony Leung, like, we know he's this Hong Kong star, right? But it's good for everybody in the States now see, like, why he's a star. So we finally got to see that for the people who didn't know Tony Leung. So I thought it was good.
Your list is very, very good and very
Different. It's very diverse. Yeah.
and you have a lot of great stuff on there. What would probably be your movie that you did not expect to be on there? I know you said you slid that in at number 10, but if you had to pick another one, what was probably a movie that you didn't think was going to be on there?
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't think The Last Duel would be on there. So I was surprised how much I really liked it. So The Last Duel, there was, like, no marketing for this movie, right? Like, I barely saw anything at all. The only way I knew about The Last Duel was I was looking through a list of films that were coming out, and I saw, wait a second, Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott is on here? So I was like, okay, Ridley Scott, Matt Damon, Adam Driver, wait a second. So I was like, I got to see this. And so I just went to go see it, and I was blown away. Like, I thought it was a really good movie. And I was surprised, man. I didn't know it was going to be that good. So
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. Craig actually just gave it his
Overrated.
We're giving awards out here today, and he just gave it his overrated movie of the year.
Overrated movie of the year. Oh man.
You know what?
Hey, man, I don't know. So see, why did you think it was overrated, man?
Well, I have my reasons. I just when you put out a movie and in The Last Duel, you're expecting a little bit more than what they're actually talking about in the film. And me specifically, I didn't like the 3 layers of the perspectives for it. I feel like you could have mixed it all together and put it into, sort of like one fluid clip going forward instead of revisiting each individual perspective. And so it kind of threw me off on that.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense because, like you were saying, so it's 3 different acts, right, for the 3 different perspectives. So when you're watching it, it's like the same thing, but it's in a different perspective. So I can see how that can get kind of repetitive for somebody, I guess.
Yeah, because like when they're doing the battle at the river or whatever, like where the acts initially kind of start, the second act when it started back, I was like, hold on, like we're going back here again, and once they kind of went through and did the same stuff, it just kind of threw me off, and I lost my interest a little bit on it.
I got you. Yeah, I definitely get that. I guess I just so I like the medieval, like war type movies.
Yeah.
And so I was just surprised. I wasn't really expecting it. I didn't know what to expect really because I didn't see anything for it. So I just went to see it, and
I mean, like
surprised me. I was like, wow, this is cool.
The action and some of the dialogue was good. Like, and in my review, I said that Adam Driver and Matt Damon killed it, as well as
Jodie Comer.
Jodie Comer, she killed it as well. So
she did. She did.
It wasn't a terrible movie. I just think when people are saying it's like 80% and whatever, I was just like, it just kind of it's all right for me.
It was fine.
Yeah.
Well, I got to ask you something about that. So, jumping at the 80%, do you think it has anything to do with the type of film it is, like with it being a medieval style film? With that, do you think those films typically get higher scores? Just because it's kind of based on a true story too in that time period?
Yeah, I mean, I think the people in the movie helped it be a little higher than what some people might have seen. But I do think that the combat and some of the dialogue and the story itself was good. I just didn't like I said, the going back and forth.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure.
Well, I think there's 2 things about this movie. I think when you get a director like you said, Kevin, with Ridley Scott, you're expecting quality type film, and he's made a lot of quality type films. But I think the biggest thing that hurt this movie was that they sandwiched it in October, which was the biggest year. You had No Time to Die, Halloween Kills, and Dune. I mean, people were going to go see that than The Last Duel.
Yeah, that's true.
And like you said, it wasn't marketed very well, or at all. To be honest, I think they were expecting people to see, like you did, Ridley Scott, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and just be like, oh, I have to go see this, and it might have backfired a little bit.
Yeah, it suffered, man. It lost money.
Yeah,
a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I just I had that pretty high on my list, man.
It's a good movie. It was one of the ones that I thoroughly enjoyed from last year. I'm just a sucker though for like you said, those medieval Gladiator. Those kind of movies are just
they're fun. I think they're fun, and they just don't get made anymore.
Yeah.
So Kevin, I did have a question for you, Kevin. You had mentioned the director for Euphoria. Are you all caught up? Did you finish it?
Man, I finished it, man. I finished it.
What'd you think?
So I thought it was pretty good, man. I thought it was a good ending. I would have honestly liked to see a little bit more of the drama between Maddie and Cassie.
Right.
I wanted to see just a little bit more of that. I was like, 'cause this is good. Like this is juicy right here, right? Like that's that drama that you want to see. Like I want to see, Maddie kick her ass a little bit. Like we saw her like throw her up against the wall.
Yeah.
But then like when they get to the bathroom, it's like
they're just talking at that point.
Things died down, but I wanted to know like what was that conversation? Like where y'all at with it, right? So I would have liked to see that. Elliot singing his song, I didn't need that.
Yeah.
I didn't need that, but I guess it was necessary to, tie that in for the season. I don't know. I guess Elliot, they probably should have done that episode before. I thought that was kind of weak. But
Yeah.
overall, though, like, it was good, man, because, like, Mouse and, what's his name? Vesco? Yes.
Yeah.
That was intense. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was definitely the standout part. What'd y'all think?
I don't know if these two have watched it, but I definitely think they gave us quite a bit in the last episode, or I'm going to call it the last two. But I think they left a lot on the table for season 3, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's a really good show, though. Really good. Sorry, I'm over here naming the things that annoyed me about the last one, the last season finale. But it was good, though. It was good. I like it.
No, you're good. I personally haven't seen it, but with me and TV shows, I usually wait for a season or two to finish up, and then I'll just sit and binge it. So Euphoria is definitely on that list. So I'm.
And it is one that you need to binge because, like I told you guys, the first 3 are kind of weird and slow, but once you get into the thick of it, it's actually a really good story.
Okay.
It is a good story. It's good, man. They take it there. This is one of those shows where they really take it there. You're like, oh, y'all went there. Okay.
So, yeah, I got a whole week of vacation coming up in April, so I might use that vacation time just to stay home and watch some stuff like I do already.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're gonna finish season 1 in one day.
Yeah. Well, all right, man. We got to talk about your top 5. Is there anything you want to add to the listeners or the people that are out there that listen to this show, maybe to anything else, or are you just excited to see what 2022 brings you? And the audio files are starting to come to you guys. So are you excited for this year coming up?
Oh man, I'm excited, man. I mean, hey, I'll be first in line to see Batman. What about y'all?
Yeah.
Oh
man.
yeah. We're excited next week, man. That's what we're talking about next week. So you're definitely gonna have to send us your thoughts in an email or in a text message and let us know what you think.
Oh
man.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you know what I think.
I'm going Friday morning.
Robert Pattinson, Bruce Wayne, y'all sold on it?
I'm sold.
I'm ready. I think this is going to be awesome.
I think there was some question marks initially, but yeah, I'm definitely sold.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I'm excited,
man.
man.
I'm looking forward to it. This is gonna be cool.
After seeing him in Good Time and The Lighthouse, I'm excited to see what he can do with the Batsuit.
Yeah, for sure. What about Morbius? Y'all excited about that one?
Not as much. Maybe they added in some of the MCU stuff. But I think initially it would have flopped, but maybe these reshoots will help it out.
I think my
Jared Leto's typecast is a weirdo, man.
I think my most anticipated.
I want to ask this. So I need to get y'all's opinion because Isaiah thinks that that's my host, Isaiah. He thinks that The Little Things is a pretty good movie, right? How did y'all feel about The Little Things? I'm sure he would probably put that in his top 10, but that's absolutely not making my top anything. What did y'all think?
All right.
I'm a sucker for Denzel, man. So Denzel is one of my favorites of all time. He's the GOAT.
For sure.
He's the GOAT, man. So anything that he's in, I'm already a little biased to. I enjoyed The Little Things for sure. I thought Jared Leto did a really good job.
One of his better roles.
He did.
The only thing I didn't like about the movie was maybe the ending. You were kind of left with a little of uncertainty. But other than that, I did think it was a really good movie.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. It was just it didn't make my top 8. Like it wasn't going to beat out Wrath of Man because I really enjoy Wrath of Man.
Oh yeah, Guy Ritchie.
And I also got to ask about Snyder Cut. Did y'all really think like Snyder Cut is the real deal? Like that movie's the real deal?
It took a movie that was borderline unwatchable and made it a really good movie.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That was awesome.
You got to excuse the girthiness or the size of the movie. I mean, it's almost 4 hours, but I mean, it's in good taste. He really does take his vision and just he gives you the whole thing. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, dude, you can't take out Cyborg's story like that, man.
Facts.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Facts. And when you see it in the movie, you realize just how important his story is
and how important he is.
Yeah.
Y'all tell Joss Whedon stop being petty, man. Put aside your differences with Ray Fisher, man. You can't do that. It's crazy.
So, man, other than that, man, I can't wait to talk to Batman. Maybe, for sure, send us in your thoughts, and you'll definitely have to give us your star rating of it. So,
Will do, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem, man. Again, Kevin from the Real for Real podcast, man. I'm excited. So thank you again for joining us, man.
Thanks a lot, fellas. Y'all.
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end. Heidi ho!
All right, guys. Don't forget, also check out our good friends over at Friday the 14th podcast. You can join Nick H, the bad guy, Mr. Fuentes, and yours truly. I am on there sometimes as well. I was not able to join them on the past episode as they talked about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 edition. It was a fun conversation. I did enjoy the episode. Go back and listen to them as they talk all about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then don't forget me and Nick this Wednesday. We're going to talk Friday the 14th presents UHD. So check us out. Every Wednesday they drop a new episode. And then you can check them out on the social media as well. Imawasa Productions and Friday the 14th podcast. Check them out.
When you're down here with me, you belong down. Like scary.
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
All right, guys. Speaking of talking about scary movies, it's time to talk about our favorite horror movie from last year. Chelsea had talked about it. I think I'm going to start first just because I'm excited to talk about it. My favorite horror movie from last year is Candyman. I think she hit it all on the right cylinders. It's perfect as far as a requel goes. I don't think you can choose anything out there better than this horror movie, so I'm really interested in you guys' takes and to talk about it. So my Dundee, my hardware goes to Candyman. Zach, what's your favorite horror movie?
I'm gonna follow that up. My Dundee also goes to Candyman. Uh, it's just a masterfully well done film. The fact that they were able to take the mythology of Candyman and just like change it up and disperse it all throughout history, and the way they were able to bring that all together with like the little shadow puppets, I thought was an excellent, well done job. I thought Jordan Peele and his team did phenomenal on the writing. Nia DaCosta knocked it out of the park. And Yahya Abdul Mateen II, I mean, I thought he was perfect casting to play this character. So,
Perfect character.
What about you, Craig?
I'm right there with you guys. Jordan Peele is, to come out of what he was doing with Key and Peele and be more of a comedian, and then come out here and do things like Get Out and Us and have a big hand in Candyman. Like, he's becoming a once in a generation type of director, and for his first handful of films to be these films, like the sky, like I would say the sky's the limit, but I feel like he's already at the sky. He's going further than that. He's phenomenal. I love his visions and directions and what he puts on the screen. So Candyman was awesome.
So unanimous hardware. Candyman gets the best horror movie of the year from all three of us. So it's going to be fun to see where that movie lies in on our top 5+5. So it's going to be fun. Can't wait. But now, guys, underrated movie of 2021. My hardware, it goes to, we talked about it, Kevin talked about it, I'm giving it to The Last Duel. Just because it didn't win a lot of it didn't get a lot of money last year. Not a lot of people got to see it, but I think it's a shame because I personally do think it's a good movie. The girthiness is a little sore. I think there are some aspects where maybe it doesn't have to be that long. Craig, I do agree with you that those sequences, if you're not prepared for them, they can throw you off and they can feel a little too lengthy. But man, I couldn't believe Ben Affleck with the blonde hair. Don't get me wrong. I think if they put him in his regular dark hair, I think he'd have been fine. His hair just kind of threw me off, but I thought he was okay in the movie. Adam Driver,
Man, he's so good in that.
he's not only is he good in that, but he's good in House of Gucci. He's good in Antoinette. Antoinette almost made my top 5 worst movies a few weeks ago, but it didn't because how good Adam Driver is. It's a shame that he did not get nominated for any kind of award again this year. Adam Driver, the best. He is slowly inching his way into one of my favorite actors currently right now. So the Last Duel gets my underrated movie. I think I think it's on HBO Max if I'm correct.
Yes, yes, it
It's
is.
also on the Vudu for you guys who share with me. So I really do think the Last Duel to me is underrated. Adam Driver, perfect. Go check it out, HBO Max.
Well,
Craig,
and I feel like he was kind of on that Robert Pattinson path where he was stereotyped as, oh, he's the bad guy from Star Wars, and I feel like he's
different kind of stereotype though,
Yeah, but
because
like,
he was. Don't get me. I can argue with anybody about it, but I think he was the best part about all those Star Wars movies.
yeah, but like,
Robert Pattinson kind of got like laughed at and poked at.
right, but I'm just saying, like, oh, that's the guy from Star Wars. Like, I even said Kylo Ren whenever I was talking about him.
True.
But he broke out of that mold so quick and has done so many great things since then. So yeah, he is becoming, obviously in the Last Duel we saw that. So for my underrated movie of the year, I'm gonna say Free Guy. When you saw it in the theater, everybody was kind of like, that looks cheesy, looks dumb, doesn't look like it would be that good, which I was one of them. And then you start seeing reviews for the movie, and it's like, Free Guy's really good. You told me Free Guy was good, and I didn't believe it, and it took me up until this weekend to watch it. So I thoroughly, vouch for it. If you haven't seen it, definitely give it a watch. It
Disney
hits you in the
Plus.
feels. It's funny, has a great story to it. So yeah.
Zach, what about you? What's your underrated movie of the year?
My underrated film of the year is another horror movie that came out that I think a lot of people just did not like. I don't know if it was just like the execution of it or the story or what, but for me, it worked on all cylinders. I enjoyed the twist of it, and for me, my underrated film is *Malignant*, James Wan's new horror movie. Um, you know, I can't really talk about it without giving away what I liked about it, but to me, I just thought James Wan I think he had a really good story and crafted a really good horror movie. So, he kind of stepped away from the Conjuring universe and did his own original project, and for me, it worked on all cylinders.
Nice. You know what? I promised we were going to get to it. We're an hour and 18 minutes in, guys. Are you ready? Because the time is now. Let's get into our top 10, our top 5 plus 5 movies of 2021. We're going to go 10 through 6. Does anybody have a few honorable mentions that they want to get into it? Zach?
Yeah, I'm just gonna list them off real quick. Candyman, like you said, all of us loved it. Probably one of the best horror movies of the year. Pig, Nicolas Cage's film that a lot of people, a lot of our listeners.
Hold on, I'm surprised that that's just an honorable mention for you. You've blown it up so much this year.
Yeah, for me, I rewatched it to get ready for the episode, and I still really like it, but I don't think it's one I'm gonna go back to for a long time. So just on the rewatchability factor, I thought Nicolas Cage was excellent in the movie. I think that was one of his best performances he's had in a long, long time. And it's just sad that he didn't really get any recognition for that. And my official honorable mention is a Quiet Place Part 2.
Nice. Craig, do you have any honorable mentions?
I don't.
I'm gonna rapid fire through mine right quick. The Last Duel, House of Gucci, Candyman, and my official and only honorable mention, Zola.
Okay. A24.
A24. So let's get into that number 10.
10.
Craig, since you'd have honorable mentions, you want to start off with number 10?
Yeah, number 10 for me is going to be Venom. Watched it over the weekend as well as
Let There Be Carnage.
For a movie that was an hour and 30 minutes, you get the plot, you get the action, you get the story, you get in, you get out. For a story, for a character like Venom, I feel like this movie, when I initially heard an hour and 30, I didn't really like it. But after watching it, I liked throughout of getting in and getting out of the story, because it gives you everything you need in that hour and 30 minutes. So,
Great number 10. Great number 10. My number 10. I don't really put a lot of documentaries in my top 10, but this one hit me on the feels, and it just made me. I was almost like a sobbing baby the entire movie. Number 10 for me is going to be Val.
Mm.
From
We almost had a Val Kilmer retrospective.
from earlier this year. It's a documentary about the life and the career of Val Kilmer, spanning his career 40 years into existence. Um, Great documentary, great biography. I believe it's available now on Amazon Prime if you have Prime. A24, Criterion. This needs a release. Number 10 for me. I was so amazed with this movie, and honestly, it could be a little bit higher, but it was a 10 out of 10 for me. And it's really sad to see what Val Kilmer is going through now. I even went on a Val Kilmer binge and bought a shit ton of Val Kilmer stuff at the end of this documentary. So, if a movie can hit you in the feels and you think about it 7 months later, it did its job, and that's why it snuck on my number 10. Val is my number 10. Zach, sir, what's your number 10?
Number 10 for me is the other film that this director made towards the later half of the year. I think some of it was, I don't really know what. I think, probably just the story, maybe the story or acting or whatever. But for me, it worked on every single level, and I really enjoyed it. So number 10 is House of Gucci, Ridley Scott's other film. Lady Gaga, Adam Driver, Jared Leto, Jeremy Irons, Al Pacino. I think the two standout performances by far is Lady Gaga and Adam Driver. I think
And they can't get no nominations.
yeah, no nominations, and
And
they had great chemistry in it.
they did.
So
I watched it for the first time over the weekend.
it is a little girthy, but I think you get invested in the story.
You do. You don't even think about the time with how much time it goes by.
Yeah,
And you see Lady Gaga, how she almost is the victim, but yet she ends up being, well, no,
Yeah.
I won't spoil it, but yeah.
it's just, I think it's interesting how an outsider marries into a family and becomes like power hungry.
Yeah,
So
it happens. Number 9, guys, this is it. Number 9 for me is The Green Knight from earlier this year as well. Dave Patel, Alicia Vikander, Joe Egerton, directed by David Lower. We saw this in the theater, Zach, and
Yep.
it was amazing to see on the big screen. Another one of those movies like The Last Duel, where you get your old timey medieval kind of film, kind of story. And it was just, the second time around, you kind of forget that it's almost a Christmas movie.
yeah,
And you could
Yeah.
sit there and watch it and be completely okay with it being a Christmas movie because there's Christmas carols in it, and the whole thing is about the Green Knight coming on Christmas Eve
hmm
and playing the game.
it's a weird metaphor for your destiny.
It is, but it's also a strange take on a fairy tale
Yeah,
so many years later.
yeah.
I thought the performances were great. The second time around, I really appreciated the score,
hmm
and cinematography was just amazing.
Yeah, I had that as a list of honorable mentions that made it on there.
It did.
I was kind of surprised that I thought I liked it better than you, but clearly not. I mean, it made it onto your top 10.
I like it. I don't know if you got to ever rewatch it,
Mm-mm.
but the rewatchability to me was phenomenal. So
Yeah.
number 9 for me is The Green Knight. Craig, number 9.
Number 9 for me is going to be The Little Things. Just kind of talked about it. Denzel, Jared Leto, Rami Malek. Great performances by all three. Like I said, Jared Leto kind of, it depends on the movie that he's in, whether it's good or bad. But I feel like the three of them were solid in this, and it was a great watch for me. The ending did kind of lack, kind of kept you wanting to find out and realize what all happened at the end, but I enjoyed it.
Number 9.
Yep, my number 9.
Number
Zach?
9. Number 9 for me is pretty much the only original Netflix film that I thought was actually good in the whole year that they came out with. Number 9 for me is The Harder They Fall. The Western film kind of has a very Tarantino style to it. Phenomenal ensemble cast with Jonathan Majors, Regina King, Idris Elba, Lakeith Stanfield, Delroy Lindo. I think the director, James Samuel, I believe his name is. I think he is a student. I think he really understood what Tarantino does as a filmmaker, and I don't think he was trying to mimic it. I think he was trying to make his own style of it. And I think it like blew up phenomenally. Great acting, great soundtrack, great action. I thought it was a very cool story where it was like, yeah, these are real people, but not a real situation. So
Nice. Good number. Good number 8.
9.
9.
Yeah.
8. I'm excited about 8. My number 8 was an episode earlier this year, and it's going to be Don't Look Up. It's the very first episode that we did of 2022, but it is a 2021 film. So go back and check it out. I believe it's a Netflix movie as well. Um, Leo, Jennifer Lawrence, Meryl Streep, Kate Blanchett, directed by Adam McKay. What more can you say? It was a fun movie, and you know what? It was one of those movies where not only did I watch it the day it came out, but I watched it again to prep for the episode, and I enjoyed it that much more. I wanted to move it up on the list, but I think number 8 fits it just fine. Um, you know what? If they give a physical meeting and I get to watch a little bit more, might jump it up just a little bit. I'd like to see a lot of special features about this movie, especially Leonardo DiCaprio being the person who he is about taking care of the planet.
Yeah.
I think he's passionate about this project. And he's passionate about the movie. So number 8 for me is Don't Look Up. Go check it out on Netflix. So, Craig, what about you? What do you got at number 8?
Number 8 for me is going to be. I want to make sure this is a 2021 movie. Encanto?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Daughter watched it like 28 times in one day.
I was fixing to say, I thought like you were like done with it already.
I heard the songs. I had heard more about it outside of the movie than I did actually watching the movie. And then when I actually watched the movie, again, it's just another Disney movie that is a home run. I don't know what they're doing over there, but whoever is making all these ideas for these films, just out of the park every single time. They're a joy. The songs are great. The kids love them, and that's what movies are all about. Is especially those that are targeting kids. Is give them something that they can remember. They can laugh. They can sing. Like just that's what movies are all about. So it's my number 8.
Zach, number 8 for you, sir.
Number 8 is probably going to be a surprise for most people, considering how I feel about the original film. But to me, what they were able to do with this sequel was truly its own story and just a fun time at the theater. Number 8 is Ghostbusters Afterlife. I think what they were able to do with the whole kind of family storyline, I thought was spot on. Great acting with McKenna Grace, Paul Rudd, and Finn Wolfhard, which really, outside of Stranger Things, this is really the only time I could actually like him as an actor. Yeah, they did their own thing. They paid homage to what came before in a very moving way with one of the characters. I just thought it was a really well done. It was a fun time at the theater. So number 8 is Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Nice. I'll kick off number 7. Number 7 for me is gonna be Halloween Kills. I know this movie gets a lot of flack. A lot of people didn't like it. It currently is like mediocre right now on IMDb, but I think this is a great sequel. It's one of those sequels that, you know what, is not going to take itself too serious, but you have a different aspect of the Michael Myers story. You know what, you find out in the movie that, guess what, it's not all about you, Jamie. You know, it takes more than just you for Michael to do what he's doing. So if you guys haven't seen it, I believe it's on the Peacock. Go check it out. We did a whole episode on it last year. Halloween Kills is a fun horror sequel that is deserving of its title. And I know Candyman was an honorable mention for me, but I have Halloween Kills at 8. But it was fun. I think the rewatchability for both those movies are great. I could rewatch them at any time, but to me, the myth, the legend of just seeing Michael Myers back on the big screen and just seeing him in a well written movie is phenomenal. And that character is one that will never die for me.
And I think, you can go back and listen to the episode and we talk about it. I think me and Craig's problem with it was, it really didn't make sense of what they were doing, especially with the last film. But maybe with Halloween Ends later this year, it might make a whole lot more sense.
But it also, to me, it doesn't need to make sense. It's a slasher film, and
Right.
it's fun to just see him just butcher the shit out of people. So
It's not a slasher film when they try to add a story to it.
it's fun because don't forget, evil dies tonight. But
If
that's
anything comes from that movie, it was good kills and good catchphrases.
but that's my number 7. Craig, what is your number 7?
My number 7 is. Let me get back to it. My number 7 is Dune. Great, just world of what Dune is, especially compared to the first one, which I could not finish. The the cast was epic. The sound and score was epic. The visual effects, everything about this movie, just it it, it was marketed as a big film, and it was a big film. Everything about this movie was just like on the epic scale, and I'm ready to see what Dune 2 or Dune Part 2 can do. So
Great number 7. Zach, number 7 for you?
Number 7's a remake. Got a lot of Oscar buzz this year, and I hope hopefully it can outdo Power of the Dog. Number 7 is a West Side Story. Steven Spielberg's West Side Story.
Only number 7?
Only number 7.
Gee,
I just didn't get a chance to rewatch it.
I thought it was going to be like number 1 for you.
No. First and foremost, I mean, I like musicals, but I don't love musicals. But what Spielberg was able to do with this, I mean, it made me like almost love the guy all over again because he was able to take something that's old and remake it into something that's like new. So I didn't go in. I went in just open minded. I didn't see the original. Just wanted to see what his version was.
You know it's on Disney Plus tomorrow?
Today, it dropped on Disney Plus today.
March 2nd.
No, I think it's on there now.
Because I tried to watch it yesterday and it went on there this morning.
well, March 2nd would be Wednesday, sir.
Oh yeah, Wednesday.
Anyway, it's going to Disney Plus soon. So if you haven't got a chance to check it out, I highly recommend it.
All right, guys, this is the final one, and then we're going to get into some more awards before we get into the top 5. Number 6 for me is going to be the biggest money-making film of the year, Spider-Man No Way Home. Fun movie, incredible cast, and then it just takes that mythology and the world that you never thought would be able to come out of the multiverse, and it just throws it right into your face. So I am super, super thrilled to own it in just a few weeks. To just
You
sit
gonna get that Best Buy Steelbook?
No, it's sold out, sir. But I can't wait to get it on 4K and just sit and watch it and to just bask in the glory of Spider-Man No Way Home again. So number 6 for me, Spider-Man No Way Home.
You're wrong about the steelbooks. On Best Buy, it says coming soon, which means that there's still some available. Just can't pre-order it anymore.
Well, then once it's there, then I will pick it up. So
yeah.
Number 6 for me, Spider-Man No Way Home. Craig, what do you got at 6?
Number 6 for me is going to be the Snyder Cut. He made a movie that was almost unbearable to watch. A very, very good superhero movie is one that a lot of us really wanted. We wanted more of Cyborg's backstory, and we got it. We wanted more Flash, and we got it. We wanted just more of a lot of stuff, and we got it. Yeah, granted, it's almost 4 hours, but after watching the original, it could have been just a bunch of shit for 4 hours. But he actually made it worth the watch of the 4 hours. The story was great. It sucks that we're probably never going to see that, especially with the reviews coming in for Robert Pattinson's Batman and Ben Affleck kind of being done with Batman. So it sucks that we'll never get to see that, but we did get this. So
nice. Zach, number 6 for you, sir. Take it away.
Number 6, I'm going to finish it off with you, Johnny. Spider-Man No Way Home. I mean, I think everything that is said about this film lives up to the hype. Going in, I really thought that, what if this is not as good as they're making it out to be? It really could have just it could have just failed at any moment. And Marvel was so meticulous at making this story incredible. It makes me so interested and ready for what's going to happen next with the multiverse. So, and And the fact that Marvel was able to keep everything under wraps and everything a secret up to that point, to the release date, phenomenal. So, I mean, everyone had their fan theories, and we fantasy booked about what was going to happen, but they took it, ran with it, and took it a whole new level up. So, number 6 is Spider-Man: No Way Home.
All right, guys, share your thoughts and your opinions on the best of 2021. There's so many emails and tweets and Instagram messages. It's all flooding in. So if I don't get to all of it this week, believe me, I will also read some next week. But I am going to go through right now. And everybody out there on Twitter and the Instagram and the Facebook, I have all your social media input, and I'm going to read some of them now. David, your movie friend, says his top 5. In this order: 5, New Order; 4, The Last Duel; number 3, Pig; number 2, Red Rocket; number 1, Titan. True Bears fan says number 5, Don't Breathe 2; number 4, Shang-Chi; number 3, Halloween Kills; number 2, Ghostbusters Afterlife; and number 1, No Time to Die. Mark at TV for me says number 4 is a tie, or number 5 is a tie: Ron's Gone Wrong and Mitchell versus the Machines. Number 4, Encanto. Number 3, Suicide Squad. Number 2, Free Guy. Number 1, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Aaron says number 5, The Protege. Number 4, Old. Number 3, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Number 2, Free Guy. Number 1, Old Henry. Geo at GeoRay _Ray says number 5, The Power of the Dog. Number 4, Dune. Number 3, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Number 2, No Time to Die. Number 1, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Timmers from Canada says number 5, Nobody. Number 4, Old. Number 3, Free Guy. Number 2, Cruella. Number 1, No Time to Die. The Hell Baby Jim says number 5, Raya and the Last Dragon. Number 4, Nobody. Number 3, The Justice League from the Snyder Cut. Number 2, Shang-Chi. Number 1, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Chip McCoy says number 5 is Nobody. Number 4 is Dune. Number 3 is Ghostbusters Afterlife. Number 2 is Free Guy. And number 1, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Dude, there's a lot of love for Free Guy, man. This is pretty good. Priscilla says her number 5 is Eternals. Number 4, Shang-Chi. Number 3, Free Guy. Number 2, The Suicide Squad. And number 1, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Zen says number 5 is Don't Breathe 2. Number 4 is Shang-Chi. Number 3, The Last Duel. Number 2, Malignant. And number 1, Nobody. Diaz says number 5 is Free Guy. Number 4, Black Widow. Number 3, Eternals. Number 2, Shang-Chi. Number 1, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Joshua Drake says number 5, Last Night in Soho. Number 4 is Dune. Number 3 is The Green Knight. Number 2 is Godzilla vs. Kong. Number 1 is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Aaron Louie says number 5 is The Mitchell vs. the Machines. The Suicide Squad is 4. Number 3 is A Quiet Place Part 2. Number 2 is Spider-Man: No Way Home. And number 1 is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Maddie says Ghostbusters Afterlife, Shang-Chi, Quiet Place Part 2, Last Night in Soho, number 1, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Vader the Traitor says number 1, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Number 2, Shang-Chi. Number 3, No Time to Die. Number 4, Jungle Cruise. And number 5, Free Guy.
Free Guy's getting some love.
A lot of love, guys. So that's off some of the social media. Craig, what do you guys feel about some of those lists?
It seems like Free Guy and Spider-Man take the reign.
Yeah, I mean,
Free Guy was really, really funny.
It was my underrated movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, it came and nobody expected it to be as good, and it was.
Like to thank you, shit don't stink, but leave it a little bit closer. See, roses really smell like boo.
Speaking of smelling like poo poo, guys, it is time for the Dog Shit of the Year award. Woo! This is the award that is prestigious. This is the 3rd year in a row that we're doing it. You have your 5 worst movies of the year, but this This is the worst.
The cream of the crop.
The cream, the steaming pile of shit that is the worst movie of the year.
Yeah, so that anger in your voice,
The
just keep
vile.
going.
It's the vile.
Do we even have to ask Johnny what his is? I think
Mine is going to be The Power of the Dog Shit.
Yeah.
That is my worst movie of the year. I honestly don't understand or agree with why it's getting so much praise. I even replied to a tweet out there earlier this week, and I think the tweet was like, "No lie, this is a very good movie," or low key. They used the word low key, and they were like, "Low key, one of the best movies of the year." So when I replied, I was like, "Low key, dog shit." It didn't get it wasn't very well liked. They kind of argued with me, but I don't know. I think
I don't get what like the thing about the film is. I mean, truthfully,
I just good for Benedict Cumberbatch. I hope he, nothing but great hope for him. But this movie is not the best movie out there, and it's slow paced. It's dull. It's boring. It's like a needle slowly going into your neck, and I just don't.
it's irritating.
It is irritating.
That's probably going to win Best Picture, and there's like
Watch
10
your
other
mouth.
films.
Watch your mouth, Zach. But yeah, I hope it doesn't. But yeah, my prestigious dog shit of the year award goes to The Power of the Dog shit. Zach, what do you got?
I know you get angry about that. You know what I get angry about?
I know it's hard to top that, but what's yours?
It's a little film called Fast 9, the Fast Saga. Totally over the top, stupid, ridiculous. And I said on the episode that I was a fan of the Fast and Furious films. I was along with the ride.
You were defending him against Edward.
Yeah, and this takes it to a whole new level that I don't even care. Like, I know there's going to be 2 more, but I don't even care, honestly.
There you go.
So, I mean, trash.
Craig, you got a piece of dog shit to hand out?
Yeah, it is my number 1. LeBron James, Space Jam.
Oh yeah, you were here last week.
To the people who were saying like, don't talk trash about the movie. It's for kids. If I'm gonna hype up Encanto and Luca and Soul and all these other kid movies, like if I can hype them up, I can tear them down because just because it's a kid movie doesn't mean it doesn't have to be good.
It ain't safe from the dog shit.
So, just like the Lakers in the West, just a big old pile of dog shit.
Oh, huh.
There we go.
Interesting. He said it.
I did say it.
So yeah, that's you got Space Jam, Fast 9, Power of the Dog. Those are steaming piles of poo poo. So best TV show of the year, guys. I know this is kind of hard for me to name one, but this award was if I had seen season 4 of Yellowstone, that would have been my pick for sure because I'm in love with season 1 and 2. I haven't watched a lot of TV last year. I did watch all the Marvel ones, some of the Star Wars. Peacemaker is half and half. But my best TV show that I saw last year that I'm going to give the award to was Chucky.
Okay.
Season 1 on the USA Network and Sci-Fi. It comes out on physical media this week, so I'm excited to rewatch it. But I think it was a great season, and it gave you a different side of Chucky that you didn't get to see in any of the movies. It wasn't as cheesy as some of the other Chucky movies, and I like how you got away with a lot of stuff showing it on the USA Network.
Nice.
So Chucky gets and they renewed it for season 2. So Chucky gets my favorite TV show of the year award. Zach, what about you?
Mine's going to be a Hulu original that I had talked up a couple weeks ago. Dope Sick. Michael Keaton won the SAG award last night.
I'm excited to see it.
In a very emotional speech. If you watch that, you know exactly why this project was very personal to him. Basically, the rise and pretty much the ongoing battle of the opioid crisis here in America, and it covers all different aspects of it. And Michael Keaton, he truly is phenomenal in this film, and you can kind of see how the problem begins, how it pesters, and just almost to the point of it's uncontrollable. So, Dope Sick is my favorite TV show of the year.
Nice. Craig, favorite TV show last year?
I'm gonna keep it simple. It was Loki.
Nice.
Nice.
I think I think it expanded what was already a massive universe for Marvel, all while handling its own and just being an overall good TV show. So it's Loki for me.
Loki's good. All right, guys, we're getting down to the last three awards. Favorite director from 2021. Um, I'm gonna hand this award to Mr. Ridley Scott. I know I overhyped the duel. A lot of us did, but House of Gucci, after watching that last night, just sits with you. And then the way he can take those two movies, two very different style of film,
Yeah.
and just put them out almost back to back. You know, he was probably working on those projects really, really close together. Um, just wow.
Yeah.
And for him to also have Gladiator 2 in the works, he for his age, man, he's going on what, 60s,
80s.
80s. Oh my God! So he's a workhorse. He's putting it all together. Hopefully, he can get Gladiator 2 up off the air. We're going to talk about him in a few weeks. We're going to talk Ridley Scott
Gladiator.
on the
Yep.
director segment of Gladiator. So that'll be exciting. We might do our top 5 Ridley Scott films.
Because he has a lot.
Yeah, so that's my favorite director from last year. Got a handout to Ridley Scott. Oh, I applaud you, guy. Zach, who's your favorite director from 2021?
Probably no surprise. Favorite director for me was Steven Spielberg. The fact that he was able to, the guy has done everything from big blockbusters to biopics to war films, and the fact that this is his first musical and he's in his 70s, and to take an old musical like West Side Story and basically reinvent it and make it his own, I applaud him for that. And it makes me excited. I mean, I think maybe he might have one more best director Oscar for him, and I really hope he wins it for this.
Nice. Craig, you have a favorite director from last year? Put together one of your favorite projects?
I'm gonna go with Destin Daniel Cretton. Did Shang-Chi.
Mm.
You know, much like what Black Panther was to the MCU, and in inviting that cultural difference and brings something new to what Marvel is. That's what Shang-Chi did, and it was I would say just as impactful with the cultural influence that he brought in, with all of the costume designing and I know obviously he didn't do the costumes itself, but he had to have some sort of influence on all of that. And uh, Shang-Chi definitely was a surprise. We all were kind of thinking that was going to be the one movie that might have flopped last year, and it's actually one of the better movies that Marvel put out.
Yeah.
So big props to him. I know I don't think he had anything else prior to that was massive.
Not at
He
least
did
that year.
He did
in
Just Mercy, the Michael B. Jordan movie.
Just Mercy, Glass Castle, and Short Term 12. Those are his best known. So
Those are good movies.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that overall, speaking of Marvel, we had obviously I think Spider-Man takes the cake, but Shang-Chi is right up there with Spider-Man, and then Black Widow is, depending on who you ask, it's mixed, and then Eternals is probably the weakest of the bunch.
Some good awards. Next up, we're giving out our favorite actress of 2021. I really had a hard time with this award. I didn't know who to give it to. There were so many different ones. A lot of people say, "Oh, Kristen Stewart was my favorite because Spencer." True, she did phenomenal, but not a movie I'd want to go back to. So mine is going to be Nicole Kidman from Being the Ricardos. I thought she put together a very well good, very well portion of her being Lucy.
Yeah.
I thought she hit it right on the spot. Her and Javier Bardem had perfect chemistry. The movie may not be everybody's alley because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I remember those days," and she doesn't look anything like her. Well, she's not her.
Yeah.
But I think she did a phenomenal job. Again, I had a hard time with this list, but she stood out to me as far as what I would want to go back to and what I would want to rewatch. So I won't spend too much time on it. Nicole Kidman, Lucille Ball for Lucy being the Ricardos. Zach, what about you? Who's your favorite actress from last year?
I almost did a last minute change. I was originally going to do I was gonna trade my one that I have to for Lady Gaga for House of Gucci, but the performance that I really went back, the best female performance I thought for the whole year was Emma Stone for Cruella. I thought she was she made that character her own and kind of did some twists and turns with it that I wasn't expecting, and I that her performance in that it was an absolute blast to watch.
Nice. Nicole Kidman, Emma Stone, Craig. Who do you got?
Um, it might just be because it's fresh on my mind. But I'm gonna go with uh, Jodie Comer or Comer, whatever how
Free Guy.
you pronounce it. Yeah, I mean, Free Guy, The Last Duel.
She was in the one. She had a big year.
I don't necessarily like The Last Duel. Like I say it's good, but there's parts that I don't like about it. I'm very very mixed about it. But with her being in two of the three most recent movies that I've watched, I watched Free Guys, Venom, and The Last Duel this weekend. So I would say her performances in those were actually really good. You know, I didn't. Free Guys not necessarily for an performance, but
Right.
for being in those movies and doing very well. And I didn't really know who she was before that. I think she did really good. So.
Well, and the fact that she's able to hold her own against the likes of Matt Damon, Adam Driver, Ryan Reynolds, and still kind of be like the standout in those movies,
Right.
It's incredible.
Yeah, like she wasn't a bad part of the film, and she also excelled the film. So
Yeah.
she might not have been the absolute standout, but she definitely didn't hold the films back. So
All right. Counterpart, opposite sex, best actor or our favorite actor of the year. How can you go against him? My favorite, the GOAT. He was in 2 movies last year. Denzel Washington. The Little Things, phenomenal. And then you know what? If it wasn't for him, I don't think anybody would have given the time of day for Tragedy Macbeth. So Denzel Washington absolutely just knocks it out of the park with both performances. He is, Macbeth in this movie. He is just outstanding from beginning to end. He steals every single scene that he's in. He just outperforms and outworks and outdoes everybody that he's on screen with in any movie that he does. So I think Denzel Washington had a really great 2021, and I honestly would like to see him walk away with best actor this year. He's nominated, so give it to him. Zach, what about you?
My
Favorite
best,
actor?
my favorite actor. It was such a joy to watch him portray this character, and I'm sad it's over, man. Favorite actor is Daniel Craig for No Time to Die. I mean, I thought, we started the retrospective January of 2020, and it took a damn year and a half to get it done. But you know what? It was totally worth it because by the time we get to that last movie, he shines as James Bond, and if you kind of watch some of them, he's not really that. With the exception of Casino, Skyfall, and No Time to Die, sometimes he's kind of in and out on Quantum Inspector. But I think he really wanted to give James Bond one last go for No Time to Die, and he was phenomenal. And I'm really sad to see his era of Bond be over. So
Nice. Craig, you got a favorite actor?
yeah, favorite actor for me is going to be Daniel Kaluuya from Judas and the Black Messiah. Put on an absolutely amazing performance in that movie. A movie that, it's one of those ones that we necessarily might not have watched outside of doing it for the podcast. And when you watch it, you get to see a great director direct something that was, has a very huge impact in history, as well as just the cast. I mean, you had Keith Stanfield, Danny Kaluuya. It was a great cast, great film, but anytime he was on the screen, stole the show.
Yeah.
So,
and you know what sucks?
Oscar-winning performance.
You know what sucks for us is that is the week that we had the nastiest ice storm last year. So you guys weren't able to come on and talk to me and Ed about it. I'm like, dang, what a great movie and a great cast, and it just missed all 4 of us from talking about it.
We did it last year.
No,
we,
we
we
didn't.
did it, but you guys didn't get to show up. It was Ed stayed here for like a
No,
week.
I was here for Judas and the Black Messiah.
No,
No, you weren't, dude.
No.
You said I think you were working at in Moore, and you said you couldn't make it because it was just getting too bad.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah,
Is that the week?
that's
Yeah.
the week. Yeah,
I
Zach.
could have swore we talked about it.
We might have talked about it the
Like,
week after.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like
But we weren't on the main episode.
Yeah, and I was like, man, what a great movie. That damn weather, though.
Might have to go back because I could have swore I
No.
talked about it and gave.
No.
Okay.
You weren't on it.
But yeah, I highly.
You might have even sent in your review, and I might have read it. But yeah.
I don't know. It was easily one of the best performances last year. So.
Oh yeah, great movie, and I think that's also on HBO Max.
Yep.
MVP. Guys, I'm gonna read some emails, and again, there's so many that flooded in. I'm not gonna get to all of them, but I am gonna get to. I'm gonna read some now, and then some at the very end. So, send them in. Whatever email you want to send in, cinemen921@gmail.com. Molly's top 10 movies of 2021. And we're starting with 10 to 1. Number 10, In the Heights. Number 9, Lamb. Number 8, Escape Room. Number 7, The Many Saints of Newark. Number 6, Last Night in Soho. Number 5, Run. Number 4, Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man. Number 3, The Night House. Number 2, Shiva Baby. Number 1, Judas and the Black Messiah. Yuri's top 5 plus 5 movies of 2021. Number 10, Dune. Number 9, No Way Home. Number 8, No Time to Die. Number 7, The Little Things. Number 6, Matrix Revolutions. Number 5, Eternals. Number 4, Halloween Kills. Number 3, Suicide Squad. Number 2, Mortal Kombat. And number 1, Black Widow. This is from Evan. Juice was such a fun episode and a good time first watch. Highly entertaining. 9 stars. Monica's top 5 movies of 2021. 5, Conjuring. 3, number 4, Justice League. Number 3, Godzilla vs. Kong. Number 2, Encanto. And number 1, Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man's getting a lot of ones.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but
I'm really excited to rewatch that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sarah 97 says her top 5 plus 5 movies of 2021. Number 10 is Cry Macho. Number 9 is The Little Things. Number 8 is Encanto. Number 7 is Pig. Number 6 is Black Widow. Number 5, Licorice Pizza. Number 4, Nightmare Alley. Number 3, Spider-Man. Number 2, House of Gucci. Number 1, Last Night in Soho.
Very diverse list.
Rambo 2688. My top 5 movies of 2021. Number 5, King Richard. Number 4, King Kong vs. Godzilla. Number 3, Spider-Man. Number 2, The Last Duel. Number 1, The Suicide Squad. This is kind of lengthy. Let's see what this says. Jeffrey says, hey guys, just wanted to ask a quick question. Kind of politics or not. Quick question, quick minute. I've shared my Army stories in the past with you guys before about being from Oklahoma and listening to you guys where I am stationed at. Makes me feel at home, and I feel like home is close. I can't wait to tell you my top 5, but in recent events, I am now scared to death about going to war. I've been home for 8 straight months, and I'm not ready to go back or leave my family. Any words of advice for myself?
We got dead air here.
Yeah. I honestly, man, I hope it doesn't get to that point. I don't have any advice for that. That is something that I wouldn't wish on anybody. Leaving their family, having a family with a young one, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So I hope it doesn't get to that point. If it does, I'll keep you in my thoughts and prayers. And we'll talk to you when it's all said and done.
I think that's a very powerful question. I will say that, if we get to that point, I hope, all of us in this room pray to God that we don't get to that point. If you do, the best thing we can give, I think the best thing I can give you is just stay strong. if you have to go over there and not only defend our country but defend Ukrainians, just come back safe. I'm sure you have a family that loves you, and I think that's the ultimate goal is just come back, so you can see them.
And Jeffrey has shared plenty of emails, when he was over there, and to know that somebody has just a few short time to not only email his family and friends, but he sends us emails too. Uh, I'm at loss for words when it comes to this guy. I think it'd be awesome one day to get him onto the episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I just gotta say, just keep your head up, keep your thoughts and your family positive notes, positive thoughts, and just always remember, no matter what happens, you always have your family. And you know what? I'm going to shed a little light on this. You always have your movies.
Yeah.
You send in your thoughts. You love your movies, and you listen to us over there. So,
And I think that's the most incredible thing. Is
yeah.
We do this for entertainment, we do this for fun, but Jeffrey, it helps him get through the days.
But Jeffrey did share his top 10 movies of 2021. So number 10 is Red Notice. Number 9 is Dune. Number 8 is Halloween Kills. Number 7 is Wrath of Man. Number 6 is Cruella. Number 5 is Jungle Cruise. Number 4 is Ghostbusters Afterlife. Number 3 is Encanto. Number 2 is Last Duel. Number 1 is Spider-Man No Way Home. It's pretty fun list. Lawrence says Juice was a really entertaining episode. First time watch for me, and I absolutely loved it. 8 stars. One more, and then we'll get into our top 5. Carol says my favorite movies of 2021 were 5 Spencer, 4 Dune, 4 Spider-Man, 3 Power of the Dog, number 2 House of Gucci, and number 1 Dune.
It's okay, Johnny. It's okay.
So, that being said, it is time for the top 5. Alright, guys, it is time. Our top 5 movies of 2021. Number 5 for me is going to be No Time to Die. Favorite Bond movie. It was phenomenal, even though with how girthy it was. The story, the conclusion of Daniel Craig as Bond. We did a whole episode on it. Just in limelight, like I said, Daniel Craig's performance and the story and the ending. To me, that was a perfect Bond movie, and I don't think it can get any better than that. For the longest time, Skyfall was number 1 for me, but this one blew it out of the water. So, number 5 is No Time to Die. Zach, what about you?
Number 5 is for me is going to be Dune. I think Craig, you said it on the episode, the Fellowship of the Ring vibe that this movie had really, really helped it. I think, the visual effects, the acting, just the story. I had said on the episode that I read the book before, and this movie blew the book out of the water. Certainly blew that David Lynch piece of crap out of the water as well. And it makes me, when the movie was over, I was like, all right, let's go. Let's do part 2. We have to wait till 2023. But man, that rewatch of Dune, it is another girthy film, but it flies. It flies by so fast. Yeah. So number 5 is Dune.
Craig, number 5?
Number 5 for me is going to be The Suicide Squad. James Gunn puts together a group that we didn't expect to
care or even like.
Yeah, and not only that, but it's a blast. It's a great movie. Story might not be as epic as everybody had hoped, like the villain and whatnot, but it was a fun ride. Yeah. It was definitely a fun ride, fun watch. So that's my number 5.
Number 4. Number 4 for me was Zach. You said it, man. Dune. When you take a movie that in some people's mind is a terrible 80s flick, and then you turn it into a powerful epic.
Yeah.
and the star power and the cinematography and the sound and all that just comes together and it clicks and it's organic.
Mm-hmm.
A word that we haven't used a lot here recently that we just used to use a lot. Just the organic feels of Dune 2021 was amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, no shade on Marvel at all, but it was really nice to see an epic that wasn't put out by Disney.
Yeah.
It was good to see that somebody else can still do it too. So number 4 for me is Dune.
And I think the other thing that I think we talked about it on the episode was the idea that it made it look like it made it feel it was a real place. Like
Yeah.
you can go there.
Yeah.
All the ships and everything.
Yeah, really fun movie. I think it's going to win some Oscars in a few weeks, but
Yeah.
who cares about the Oscars right now? The Dundies and the Cinesticks is what
What
matters. So Zach,
number
number 4.
number 4 for me is a film that one of the first one of the first movies we got to go see in the theater after everything started opening back up, and I'm glad it was one of those films because we needed that at that point. Number 4 is Godzilla vs Kong. Such a fun film. The action is top notch. All the people that says there's no human connection or human characterization. It's a monster movie. It's called Godzilla vs Kong. You're not going to see that.
It's not Carol versus Steve.
No. You want to see two giant monsters destroy shit and beat each other up, and you get that. And the biggest compliment for this film, it's the rewatchability is like incredible. Even though you know what's going on, and even some of the character moments with like the Millie Bobby Brown storyline, they get better with the rewatchability. So,
Craig, number 4.
is that
Number 4 for me is going to be the movie that contains my actor of the year, Judas and the Black Messiah. Heavy dialogue in the movie, very insightful on everything that happened during that time period. The acting was great, not just by Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield, but the surrounding cast. Just very, very impactful when you watch it. Like I said, it's just a piece of, might not be a one-to-one replica of what history was, but it shines light on it. So it's my number 4.
Nice, man. I can't believe we're in the final 3. Final 3, man. 3 for me. This was my number 1 movie back in July when it was our top 5 movies of 2021 so far, and it's carried all the way to number 3. Number 3 is Wrath of Man with Jason Statham, directed by Guy Ritchie. It is everything you want in a Guy Ritchie, Jason Statham action movie. The story is great. The action is tremendous. The meaning behind everything just hits. And the rewatchability to this day is epic, and I like it.
they have another movie coming out, don't they?
They do, and I think it's already out
here in a couple weeks.
Yeah. So anytime you get Jason Statham flick by himself, I'm always gonna check it out. When you get him, Guy Ritchie, when he does a movie, even if it's Aladdin, I'm gonna go check it out. But when you put them together, I'm gonna have fun all over it. So Wrath of Man, number 3 for me. Go check it out. It's worth every penny if you got to go out and purchase it. One of my favorite movies of the year. Wrath of Man, number 3. Zach, what do you got at 3?
Number 3 for me, and I should have prefaced this by saying my top 5 really could be switched, and depending on the day, could be switched up.
Forget about it.
So, and at one point, this was number 1 of the year for me. But man, what else can you say? Number 3 is No Time to Die.
Oh wow.
007. The last time for Daniel Craig. It was.
I can't believe it's number 1. Godzilla's not it. West Side Story's not it.
Not No Time to Die.
No Time to Die. I don't know what it is. I'm baffled.
Spider-Man.
It just. I mean, it was such a thrill ride. It was such a awesome adventure to see Daniel Craig portray James Bond one last time, and I think all of us can agree he went out on a very, very high note. So.
And a hot note with that explosion. No.
Yeah.
Gregory, sir, number 3 for you.
Yeah, number 3 for me is going to be, again, I think very highly of it, Shang-Chi. The soundtrack is great with...
Uncle Fina.
Aquafina, Rich Brian, the soundtrack. But not only that, you get was it Simon Liu, Simu Liu?
Simon Liu.
Yeah,
Liu? Yeah.
we'll go with that.
The
It's got
as
like
the
10
as the
names.
villain.
And the villain too.
Yeah.
The names aren't in front of me, guys. Just relax. But no, Shang-Chi delivered on all cylinders. It was an epic Marvel masterpiece that I think is probably top 3. I was gonna say top 3 in the last like 5 years, but then I was like, oh no, we got Avengers. And, it's up there, man. It's definitely one of the best of what Marvel has put out. So
There's no video, guys. It literally took them a second to be like, oh, no.
yeah, I had to like go through the list, but I'll put it this way: it's the top of what Marvel has put out over the last since it's been out. It's one of the best. So that's my number 3.
We only have 2 left.
We only have 2 left, guys. My number 2, I hyped it up when I first watched it and talked about it on recent watches. I wish it would hurry up and get some kind of physical media release. But number 2 for me is on Apple TV Plus. It's Finch. Tom Hanks, Caleb Landry Jones, a story about a post-apocalyptic Earth, about a man and his robot. And if you think Castaway was good, guys, this movie is. I think this could have been also an underrated movie for me because I haven't heard it get talked about a lot. Tom Hanks delivers an amazing performance when he's really just him and a dog. Sometimes the dog is even CGI. But the movie is just is all in your feels, man. It's a post-apocalyptic Earth about Tom Hanks and the robot built to protect the life of his dog after he eventually and might pass away. The movie's about love, life, friendship, and everything it means to be human. So I honestly adore this movie, and it made me think about it. All this time later about the movie. The performance from Tom Hanks was great. So, like you guys said earlier, when a movie can just make you think and make you feel all the feels so many months later, that's what it's about, man. And Finch did that for me, and so did Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks was phenomenal, and I don't see why this movie's not getting any love. So, directed by Miguel Sapochnik, I think that's how you pronounce it. I probably butchered the shit out of that name, but my number 2 movie of the year, man, Finch. Go check it out, Apple TV Plus. Zach, what's number 2 for you, man?
Number 2 is one that unfortunately we had to see on a streaming site, and I really wish we had seen it in the theater. Watched the first time, loved it, and it really stuck with me. And on the rewatch, it's even better on the rewatch. Number 2 is Luca. Disney and Pixar's Luca was released on Disney Plus. Man, like I don't know if it's up there with like Soul and Up and Inside Out, but man, this was such a fun adventure film, and I feel like Pixar hadn't done that in a couple other films, and it just went back kind of to the basics, and it's about friendship and discovering who you are,
and not judging anybody for who they are.
Exactly, and the fact that they said it on the Italian Riviera, beautiful animation, totally beautiful. Great voice cast, and yeah, number 2 is Luca.
Nice. Little shocker right there. I want to see what number 1 is. Craig, number 2 for you.
Number 2 for me is going to be Spider-Man.
I thought that was your number 1.
Spider-Man.
Something
I thought that
else is number 1.
Spider-Man was epic, dude. It's everything we had hoped for. All the hype, all the lead up to it,
and more.
So,
I thought that was gonna be your number 1.
It was awesome.
I would have bet $100 that was his number 1.
Me too, and we both would have lost.
I love me some Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Man. I think it's time though. Is that it? We have one more to go?
I think one more film and we can move on from 2021.
My favorite 2021 movie is going to be King Richard.
Nice.
I completely enjoyed the movie from start to beginning, or from start to finish. Will Smith's character was amazing. He is phenomenal in the movie. I really hope he or Denzel wins the Oscar this month or March. And then the rewatchability, and I'm like, man, it's like 220. I don't know how it's going to be, when I buy it and rewatch it. It was just as good, if not better. And the cast was amazing. He doesn't get talked about a lot in it, but John Bernthal
Yeah.
is in the movie, and he is phenomenal. Tony Goodwin. But you know what? The actress who plays his wife, um, I can't pronounce her name. Joanne Ellis. I probably butchered her name. I'm sorry, but she plays Brandy Williams, the wife and mother of the two twins, and then the two young actresses who played Venus and Serena did phenomenal. I think the movie is exactly what we needed for the year 2021 was, but it's about the real life story of the Venus and Serena Williams sisters, and it just shows you that with somebody helping you and guiding you and giving you the knowledge, that's still not enough. You have to go out there and put work in, and you have to show up before everybody, and you got to leave after everybody leaves, and you just got to put in the work ethic. And King Richard is a powerful positive movie, and it will make you just feel like $1,000,000. And I think that's what a good movie should do. So lifted you up and makes you feel good. King Richard, my number one of 2021. Zach, number one for you.
Number one for me is one that I got to see in the theater back in the summertime. This was a film that I think got hyped up, and I was just like, all right, whatever. I'm sure it's not as good as everyone says it is. I was really against the idea of them doing this, but it feels really good when they prove you wrong. Truthfully, I feel like I'm gonna disappoint you, Johnny. But I knew it was gonna be my top five. I just didn't know where, and I just on the rewatch, it just kind of confirmed it. That
Black
was my
Widow.
favorite. It confirmed that was my favorite film of the year. Number one is Cruella.
Oh wow,
So
nice.
loved it. Like I said, Emma Stone was my favorite actress of the year. Emma Thompson was really good. I think what they were able to do as a prequel to that character did a very phenomenal job, and they did a lot of.
I'm glad that it's your number one because I thought it was a good movie too.
Yeah,
but I didn't beating out No Time to Die
and West Side Story and Godzilla vs Kong.
Jeez.
Yeah, and they just did a lot of fun things with the mythology of 101 Dalmatians, and can't believe I said it. If you would ask me this a year ago, I would have said hell no. But I'm excited to see where they're going to take this.
Nice.
So,
King Richard, Cruella, Craig, finish us off. What's your favorite film of last year?
Space Jam: A New Legacy.
I'm going to agree with myself. I think 007 was
nice.
The best movie last year. It gave you an ending that none of us really. I mean, if you would have asked me what the ending was, you would have said like, "Oh, he probably comes close to dying and he drives off with the girl," and that's not what happened. They took a chance. They made it very, very just
very emotional,
heart twisting, and like it was hard to swallow in that moment because you were just like you couldn't believe what they had done. So aside from that, the entire movie was awesome. Rami Malek and Daniel Craig put on a hell of a show, and it was my favorite movie last year. So
nice. Well, you guys are more than welcome to send us your emails and your top 5 plus 5s. I'm going to read a few more, and then we will call it a bow tie, the final nail in the coffin for 2021. Jason from Attack of the Killer podcast over at Prescribed Films sends in his top 10. Number 10 is Saint Maud. Number 9 is Antlers. Number 8 is Sun. Number 7 is Candyman. Number 6 is Last Night in Soho. Number 5 is A Quiet Place Part 2. Number 4 is The Swarm. Number 3 is Malignant. Number 2 is Old. And number 1 is Ghostbusters Afterlife. Insane Mike from Attack of the Killer podcast. His top 10. Seance?
Sure.
Number 9, Jacob's Wife. Number 8, Slacks. Number 7, Halloween Kills. Number 6, Godzilla vs. Kong. Number 5, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Number 4, Malignant. Number 3, Untitled Horror Movie. Number 2, Vicious Fun. Number 1, Psycho Goreman. Tad, also from Attack of the Killer podcast, his top 10. Number 10 is Lamb. Number 9 is Halloween Kills. Number 8 is Candyman. Number 7 is The Boy Behind the Door. Number 6, VHS 1994 or 94. Number 5 is Antlers. Number 4, Last Night in Soho. Number 3 is the Fear Street Trilogy. Number 2, Psycho Goreman. Number 1, Night House. Andy's top 10 from Attack of the Killer podcast is 10, Halloween Kills. Number 9, Jacob's Wife. Number 8, Fried Berry. Number 7, Censor. Number 6, Fear Street, 1978. I believe that's the first one. Number 5 is Vicious Fun. Number 4, Psycho Goreman. Number 3, VHS 94. Number 2, Bloody Hell. Number 1, Haunted.
Sounds like they just kept to horror movies.
Yeah,
Sounds like
Attack of the Killer podcast. Dustin's top 10 is number 10 is Shadow in the Cloud. Number 9, Psycho Goreman. Number 8, Till Death. Number 7, Malignant. Number 6, Halloween Kills. Number 5, Candyman. Number 4, Meander. Number 3, Night Books. Number 2, VHS 94. And number 1, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Which is a great group of guys. Go check out Attack of the Killer podcast, and they were supposed to be on here as well and talk to us, but I had to reschedule some stuff last minute. Jason also helps run prescribedfilms.com, so again, them adding us onto that network is a great thing. So, really cool, really fun. Franco from Friday the 14th podcast and Wrestling Tacos sent in his top 5. Number 5 is Black Widow. Number 4 is Spiral. Number 3 is Conjuring 3. Number 2 is Malignant. Number 1, Spider-Man No Way Home. Jerry's top 5 of 21. Number 5, Jungle Cruise. Number 4, Dune. Number 3, West Side Story. Number 2, Spider-Man. Number 1, Titan. Sean from Rodeo Cinema sent in his top 5 plus 5. Number 10 is Being the Ricardos. Number 9 is Val. Number 8 is Spencer. Number 7 is The Harder They Fall. Number 6 is Justice League Snyder Cut. Number 5 is Old Henry. Number 4 is 9 Days. Number 3 is Pig. Number 2 is Dune. And number 1 is Don't Look Up. Valerie's top 5 movies of 21. Number 5 being The Ricardos. Number 4 is Free Guy. Number 3 is Jungle Cruise. Number 2 is West Side Stories. Number 1 is Last Night in Soho. J-Pod Bonecast. His top 10 is Don't Look Up. Number 9 is Bad Trip. Number 8 is Spiral. Number 7 is The Suicide Squad. Number 6 is Old. 5 is Halloween Kills. 4 is Eternals. 3 is Those Who Wish Me Dead. Number 2 is Wrong Turn 2021. Number 1 is Spider-Man No Way Home. Nick, one of my co-hosts, or I'm one of his co-hosts from Friday the 14th. His number 5 is Willy's Wonderland. Number 4 is VHS 94. 3 is Candyman. 2 is Last Night in Soho. Number 1, Halloween Kills. And then we'll finish it off with Josh. Again, there's so many more to get through, but guys, send them in, and I'll read some more next week, and I'll go through. So, number 5 for Josh is a tie between Dune and No Time to Die. Number 4 is The Green Knight. Number 3 is Last Night in Soho. Number 2 is Spider-Man. Number 1, The Last Duel.
The Last Duel takes the cake.
So guys, I think it was a tremendous episode. Thank you for sending all your top 5s. I know it was a long day, a long process.
You'd have to cut this up like the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, everybody out there listening, everybody out there, wherever you are, for sending anything in, even the guys that I'm sitting here in the room with. It was a process, but it was a fun process, and it was one of the most fun and exciting shows of the year. So, I appreciate everybody for making this what it is every year, and every year it gets a little bit bigger. So, Zach, final nail in the coffin for 2021.
Overall, 2021, I think will go down in history as the comeback of cinema. We had pretty much every week. We pretty much had a movie that built the box office just a little bit more. Starting with Godzilla vs Kong, leading all the way up to Spider-Man: No Way Home, which is the first billion-dollar movie that we've had pretty much in a year and a half. I'm just glad cinema's back. So, what about you, Craig?
Yeah, 2021 was kind of like a box of chocolates.
That's true.
Never knew what you were gonna get,
Good
man.
comparison.
A movie came out that you thought was gonna be really good, and it bombed at the box office. And then a movie came out like Free Guys that you didn't expect to be good. Maybe some people did, and it may not have done well at the box office, but it ends up being in a lot of you guys' top fives. So just a lot of just different. 2021 was just different. So um, I'm not sad to see it go. I did enjoy the stuff that came out of it, but it's just going to keep getting better from here.
All right, Zach, are you interested in the Batman next week?
Absolutely. What else? What we just need to go watch it.
You know what? Usually when we do one of these episodes, the next movie is kind of a lower tier, so we can kind of enjoy the high from the top 5 plus 5. But it's like we don't get a break. Next week is the Batman, and it's just on to 2022.
Yeah.
So excited?
Absolutely. I think this is, judging by all the reviews that came out today, it's, there's no other word other than to say epic. So
I'm excited. It could be the first epic of 2022. Craig, Batman, are you excited next week, Monday?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of gave Robert Pattinson shit for being Batman.
You kind of gave Robert Pattinson shit. I was on board from the beginning. Robert Pattinson.
It was.
He's gonna be doing a lot of that next week, folks.
It was, it's just kind of different to see him in that light, and you didn't know what to expect with it being kind of like a year one not a year one, but a startup Batman. But like Zach said, the reviews are pouring in, and I'm seeing 10s across the board. A lot of movies, yeah, when you see 10s, you're like, oh, critics are doing this, critics are doing that. But it's a DC movie. It's a superhero movie, and
they don't usually do that to DC.
The last time you saw a movie with this kind of praise was Spider-Man. That was a superhero movie, and it made close to $1 billion. So if this movie does that for DC,
we could be in for a good year.
You're gonna see a lot of Robert Pattinson in the Batsuit if it hits that. So
that's true, guys. This is being compared to The Dark Knight. Again, I didn't want to believe it, but we're on to the Batman next week. I want to thank everybody out there for singing their top 5 plus 5. All the podcasts who called in. I'm excited for 2022, and I'm excited for the Bat. I'm excited next week. Don't forget the Batman giveaway over on the Facebook page, facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Next week, March 7th, the Batman. We love you, Ed. The Batman. Next week, Cine-Men Movie Podcast.